This week, we're throwing on our cowboy hats for the Buck and Eddie double feature of our dreams, where the Buddie Parallels and symbolism just did not quit.
Buck's parents are getting a divorce, and Buck makes that about Eddie coming back to LA, while he finds himself in his feels about Bobby's role as a father in his life.
Meanwhile, Eddie is getting match made from the grave and has his work cut out for him in Nashville to get Buck to let go of winning to have a good time.
Have you ever watched something that completely rewired your brain chemistry?
A procedural network drama might not be your usual pick, but it's ours.
This is The Buddy System, a 911 yapathon hosted by three friends who have DM'd each other enough character dissertations to earn a PhD in media literacy.
I'm Han, coming to you straight from the characters' heads.
I'm Sil, bringing you to the observation deck.
And I'm Rachel, connecting the dots with my red string.
With our powers combined,
no stone is left unturned.
And no buddy is left behind.
This is our 8th special episode covering Season 9, and today we're talking about
Season 9, Episode 12, titled Dads and Cads. It's written by Christopher Monfett and Taylor Wong.
Woo!
It's directed by Nimisha Mukherjee, and the director of photography is Andrew Mitchell.
And 911 Nashville Season 1, Episode 12, titled Spirit of the Games, written by Rashad Raisani, directed by Don Wilkinson, and the director of photography is Tommy Lohman.
Awesome! We're so excited to talk about these episodes.
Oh my gosh.
Wish we had more time to think about them, but that's what the rewatch will be for in X amount of time.
85 years. There's so much to talk about with these. So much happened in both of these episodes.
It's both so much fun, actually.
Yeah, we had like the absolute best time watching it live on Patreon, and then we rewatched it last night to prepare for this, and it took us several hours to get through those 2 episodes because we just paused so much. But they're great, really great rewatchability too.
Yes.
So I guess start off with 9/12 and talk about what worked well.
All right, so we'll definitely talk more about this in Buddiemaxxing, but I thought that the calls with the couples and Buck's talk with Maddie really worked well as like possible foreshadowing for what's to come in 9/13, which we're so excited about.
Just a little.
Yeah. These last few episodes, like overall, they've really done a good job. I'm like including 10, 11, 12.
Mm-hmm.
So they've done a good job in like foreshadowing the psycho plot and possibly Buddy's dynamic and the possibility of them, not the possibility. Now it's confirmed because of the promo that they're going to get into a car accident.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like,
yeah, they are.
We had so much foreshadowing with cars.
Yes.
It was crazy work.
Not even just in the last like couple episodes, but like
the entirety of season 9. And
yes,
we've been pulling for that since like 8.
Yes.
So we're finally here.
Technically, I think we've had foreshadowing since season 8 with that, but
yeah.
And I mean, I guess like, you know, we'll have to wait till next week's episode to see like how these foreshadowing things follow through. But I think that like just the sheer volume of stuff with like cars and stuff with like knives is building up. So we're like, okay, this is intentional foreshadowing. It's leading somewhere. So that's why like we feel comfortable saying that. Also really loved to see this second team up between Christopher Monfett and Taylor Wong. I think we were really surprised about that because we knew from a couple behind the scenes pictures that Taylor Wong was on set while they were filming this episode. So we were like, okay, great. It's a Taylor Wong episode. Super excited. Nothing could have prepared us for another team up, which they first wrote together. It was episode 10, Handle with Care. And we love that episode too. And it's just like, we were in for such a treat when we saw that on the credits. I think they balance each other out very well because you get some of Taylor Wong's like silly goofiness.
Oh my God.
And then some of Christopher Monfett's like,
I call it psychological warfare.
Yeah.
In the most affectionate, loving way. Like it's so good. But he likes to commit psychological warfare against the characters, basically. Like he puts them through it emotionally. So that was Buck.
Yeah. For sure.
And I think for me, that's what worked the best in this episode. Like, we feared that the Buckley parents were coming back, and it came to fruition. And like, based off of the synopsis, I was like, it can't be a divorce. It's got to be more than that. Like, he's got to be sick. And like, there's stuff to be talked about with the future of that possibility. But just talking about like the divorce and like how that went, it seemed like such a nothing burger. But the way it played out was so nice, because I think the show does a really good job when they don't, the couple times that they try to, without merit, redeem the blood parents. This was not one of those times. In fact, even had Philip just be like, we're terrible parents, which is like, yeah, great. A+ for self-awareness.
Self-aware king.
Yeah, I guess.
Wow, growth.
Yeah. But I think it's just so interesting to be like, yeah, it is sad that your parents are getting divorced and it's going to affect you, even though you're not close with them. Like, they're still your parents and you still love them. And that's kind of something we've already touched on several times before. I think like with Eddie's parents, with Athena's parents, Bobby's parents too. So like, I think that's a good line to walk, where it's like, you're not completely cutting your parents who aren't great out of your life, you know, but you have boundaries. But things that happen still make you sad because you love them, even though they're not the best to varying degrees for different reasons. And then to have it kind of end up being that scene at the end, which was psychological warfare against me personally, because I was not ready. I was not ready for that at all. That was like out of left field.
The scene with Buck and
scene with Philip and Buck. Yeah. Where he's like, I want you to tell me about the man who helped raise my son. I started crying because I was like emotionally moved for like Buck, because I was like, oh my God, having like Buck be able to acknowledge that like that's what Bobby meant to him, and then be able to talk about it, because he has never been able to really do that other than like a throwaway comment to like TK and the other crossover is so powerful, and probably meant so much to him, because he immediately like hugs his father and is like, I love you, Dad. And it all came across so genuine from Buck, like all of his reactions and like in character, and like this meant so much to him. I just thought it was great. Hate to see the Buckley parents, but loved the storyline, actually.
Yeah, I think the way that this episode utilized like was so surrounding like family dynamic sort of thing, and having people like come back around to their family. Like, you get the emotional heart of that with Buck and Maddie dealing with their parents' divorce and that bomb dropping on them, but you also get it in a more humorous way with like Harry and May, where, you know, they go through this like tiff because Harry saw stuff they wasn't supposed to see. But at the end they come back together, and it's like, you know, we're family. We have to, you know, stick it out sometimes, and you're still my brother, you're still my sister, and have to like actively work together to like maintain their like sibling relationship. And I just loved how this episode was able to balance both of those, but it's like all surrounding the same kind of like core theme.
Absolutely. So I guess, is there anything that we think could have worked differently or better?
This is,
you know what's funny?
12 episodes in?
Yeah, you know what's funny about these? I don't know. Either like we're just like, we genuinely do really like these, but like even after watching them multiple times, I can't even find a reason to like be like,
no,
we need to change this a bit or something. Like,
or
I don't know.
I would have liked if this happened more than if this happened. You know what I mean? And like, I feel like there's only been one or two instances where we really were like, or had like some constructive criticism.
Yeah.
But this is the 12th episode. Like, this is 2/3 of the season, and we're at average 10 out of 10 for the buddy system review.
I hate to bring this up, but like, is it because like we had such a hard time last year with the Bobby death that this is like 100 times better?
I mean, honestly, if anything, I feel like we're grading it harsher based on that.
Yeah.
Because I think we had such, like, if anyone who's listening hasn't listened to our Bobby Grief special, we kind of were like, we had such high faith and trust in the show. And like, we want to know that we can still have that going forward, but we don't know like what the vibes and the tone and how this is going to be. Is it just going to be the grief show? Like, we had so many concerns, and they've assuaged all of them.
Yeah, we kind of like lined out a lot of how we would want them to address a lot of these concerns moving forward. And I kind of feel like they're not only meeting those expectations, but they're exceeding them because it's so well written, and the way that they're threading the stuff with Bobby through, where it was like really prevalent at the beginning of the season and has just kind of, like popped up more gently, like a couple times throughout, especially like with this episode
in a very natural way.
Yeah.
I feel. Yeah.
And it's just like, I do think we are kind of grading it a little harsher than not harsher. I think we're watching all of this with a very critical eye. Like we're being entertained, but we're also looking at it as like, is this good television? Is this good storytelling? Yeah. And it is. It
and I don't
really
think it's
is.
recency bias either, because it's just like, just before the season started, we did just finish watching season 3. We started watching season 4, and we watched these episodes multiple times. It's not like we just watch it once and we're like, that was great. No notes. It's like, no, we watch it 2 to 3 times minimum before we record our episode. So I feel like
they hold up every time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like I can't ever find a reason to change my mind. I'm like, oh, wow, this is great. Well, or this was good. And it's always like on that side of the spectrum of good to great to excellent. You know what I mean? Like I can't go the other direction. Yeah. And like I think about like what Tim said about how like this season is not the perpetual season of mourning.
That was
Tim. No, the season of perpetual mourning. And he was right. He delivered on that. So I think when they bring up Bobby, I think they do it, like Han said, very naturally and very smartly.
Yes.
Yeah.
They utilize it well.
Yeah, they utilize it well, especially to tell certain stories. And sometimes it's even like it starts on the grief aspect, but then it's like more internal character work. Like I think how we see, like, for example, Hen's storyline, that kind of one of those examples of like Bobby grief, but it's actually something about her as well. It's not just.
Yeah.
So good.
Because I tried to think, I was like, is there a way that we could have gotten this beautiful storyline for Buck that we got in this episode without the Buckley parents? No. I couldn't think of a way to get there.
No.
Like, it really had to be an outside person with no personal interest, because like they don't have any personal interest in Buck.
No,
to really take a look at it and be like, why don't you talk about it and like tell me about him, and to recognize that, and to have like his actual like father, biological father, look at him and be like, I think I know what he meant to you. And, I want to know more about the man who helped raise my son. And it's like, how could that have meant more to him coming from anyone else?
Yeah. Yeah. I saw a couple of comments, and I think I will say from like me personally, like, and kind of like what Can said, this is not redemption for Philip Buckley at all.
Oh,
but I think it is but I think it is very, very healing for Buck. And I feel like if I was, if I came across a time when like a parent out of nowhere decided to apologize to me, like that would mean something, because sometimes they don't, I don't like to apologize sometimes.
Yeah.
You just move forward.
And he apologized, but he didn't ask for forgiveness. You know what I mean? Like, I think he recognizes that that's not something he deserves or could even try and begin to earn.
Yeah.
But to be able to like give something to his kid that his kid very obviously needs, like, kudos to him for that.
Yeah.
Like, and bravo to the Taylor and Chris Monfett team for using them as a plot device to get to the story. Because again, good. I just don't know how else we could have gotten to it. And that was one of the only things I think left from Bobby dying and how that played out for the aftermath for Buck, that I have always had issues with, because I hated his goodbye to Buck, and I hated how he did call him kid, but it was like you really had these last moments with him, and you couldn't just be like, I love you like my kid, like you're my kid, or you know what I mean, to just clarify and have that moment between the two of them, because they never had it. And I've never really talked about it because I don't like adding to like the negativity that like fandom has around Buck and the grieving, as far, because I don't agree with a lot of the stuff they say, but it is different for Buck the way that he's grieving Bobby than anyone else other than May and Harry. They have the most similar experience to him. So like his coworkers, his friends can't really understand to the full extent what he's experiencing, and he hasn't been able to talk about it. So this really like it's not like I feel like we should never see Buck grieving Bobby ever again, but I feel like this just really put the final touch of like the healing for me personally of like what was bugging me about it or what was nagging.
Yeah. And it also kind of like makes me think a little bit that this is a little more speculative, but this could be the thing that like kind of greases the wheels to allow Buck to actually open up about not just this, but like other things that he's feeling as well. So I think if this Philip and Buck moment is used to help move that along as well, I think that will be very, very smart.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like a great opportunity. I feel like this whole little bit was just us defending of ourselves, like why we think it's so great. It's like, we think it's so great, but wait, listen to us tell you why.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't been on the streets too much, so I don't know how they received this storyline, but I just feel like there's a lot of nuance in it, and maybe it just needed to be discussed a little bit. That's all. Because it's still fuck Philip Buckley. Like, don't get it twisted. It's still on site with that guy.
Look, a wrong clock is right twice a day, so.
All right. So I guess moving on to season 1, episode 12 of 911 Nashville. What worked well? This is our first review
for Nashville
on the pod of a Nashville episode. We watch it every week, guys.
And we're not talking about the other character.
And sorry, yeah, it's still very much just focused on OG. I don't think we're ever going to have the time or capacity unless someone wants to pay us for this to be our full-time job to do what we do for Nashville.
Which we would love to do, by the way.
If you would love to be bankroll for that, please hit us up. It's buddysystempod@gmail.com.
In the meantime, feel free to become our buddies on Patreon, because that'll help too. But
that's also where you can see our Nashville reactions.
Yes.
Yeah. But we will probably touch upon those characters once we get to the rewatch episode.
Yes.
In the rewatch where we can deep dive into this individually with time. Absolutely.
Yeah. So for anyone who doesn't know, we do watch Nashville every week. Again, you can watch our reaction to Nashville on our Patreon because we haven't put them up on YouTube yet because, again, we don't have time. But we've just generally speaking, we've been really enjoying Nashville so far. So it's fun for us now because we've been watching it to see the worlds collide a little bit. And I thought, like, very in line with the way a crossover of two shows are, you have to kind of like top line a lot of the characters because you're touching on everybody so quickly. So like the exposition to get like general audience and the people just tuning in. So like whether it's people who watch 911 OG and are tuning into Nashville for the first time, or people who are watching Nashville and don't necessarily watch 911 OG or as much. This episode has to do a lot of heavy lifting because they have to basically introduce Buck and Eddie for who Buck and Eddie are, but also reintroduce everybody from the Nashville crew. And it's kind of like casting a wide but shallow net. But I think the way they used that exposition was very well done. I'm thinking specifically, to kind of like catch people up in a short time frame. I'm thinking specifically the scene where it's Dixie and Blythe and Carla in the middle. And, Carla's asking, oh, which one's yours competing in the games? And Blythe, says it's her son and her husband. And then Dixie says her son and his dad. And then Carla's like, oh, there's some weird stuff happening. So it's like, it's exposition, but it is very entertainingly delivered.
Yes.
So I think they handled that very, very well throughout the whole episode.
So what really worked well was like the lost opportunity, not the lost opportunity. Who knows? There's probably reasons why they couldn't do this, but like the heated rivalry between the 118. So like Buck and Eddie and Ryan and Blue. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. Just seeing them like bounce off of each other. And I don't know. It was just fun. It was just so much fun.
It was a lot of fun.
This whole episode was just fun.
But I will say, like, I also like that they still gave Buck and Eddie, like, chances to interact with the other characters. Like, Eddie got to interact with Taylor and Roxy.
Yeah, I think for me, something that worked really well, and it's gonna sound like, well, of course you would say this, and from the Buddy System podcast, but I like that half of this episode was about Buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's something that we didn't quite really expect them to lean into so hard.
I mean, I expected a good amount, but I also thought that it was going to be more involved of like with them. But I guess by the nature of it being a competition, like I should have assumed it wasn't going to be like them being like split up with like the way they were in Lone Star and that crossover. Because it very much was like, we're in an emergency and like we're going to be in teams. And it's like, no, the teams were that they were Buck and Eddie and then the 113. So
yeah, I really thought that they were gonna actually like bond, like have like moments to bond, but maybe we'll see that.
They didn't until the end a little bit.
Yeah, at the end.
And it was just all very drunken, like, you're the best.
You're awesome.
You're awesome.
No, you're awesome.
Which is it was giving drunk girls in the bathroom. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Oh my God.
It absolutely was.
Which is like, if you don't have this experience, if you are ever out and you're inebriated at a place where a lot of people tend to be inebriated, the best place to be is the women's bathroom because it's just like a kiki of girls complimenting each other and just
camaraderie and
just girlhood. It's amazing. But that's really what that felt like.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you're all amazing. You're all awesome.
Also, just a shout out to the Kenosha Carls. I thought they were so fun this entire episode.
They're really
and like
funny.
it was a great comparison because, you know, the Carls really embodied the spirit of the games. Because it's the episode title. But it's just like they were also a little bit of the plot device to bring everyone together as well. So like they're the real winners here. I just feel like I'm spiritually a Kenosha Carl.
We love the Kenosha Carls and Carla. Because Carla also kind of like brought Dixie and Blythe
together. Exactly. No, they're great.
Oh, I love that heated rivalry too. That toxic Yuri. Sorry, I had to shout those two out. Just FYI, there's toxic Yuri on the show.
It's so good.
And then I guess...
Wait.
What?
There was one more.
Yeah, there was one more. I guess I'll be the one to say it.
We can't miss this one.
Well, we can't. Hey, guys, like if you haven't watched Nashville, which I don't know what you're doing here actually, because technically I think you all should have watched Nashville. There's a hydration break.
If you're thirsty.
If you're thirsty on a Thursday. That's all. Gratuitous.
Everyone say thanks for Shad.
Thanks for Shad. Thanks Tommy Lohman. Like
sorry to Oliver,
actually, yes.
Hunter, Ryan, and Michael. Sorry to them. Diabolical.
I will just say, like, I love the stills photographer on Nashville, but where are the stills of that? You know?
Release the stills.
Release the full cut.
Oh my God, the full cut, yes. It's going triple platinum right now
because there's like a promo. Because I watched it the next day on Hulu or Disney, but it's Hulu through Disney. And then like at the end of the episode of 9/12, it gives you like the promo, but not the same promo, like for the crossover event. And it was like, I forget what the dramatic voice is saying, but it's like things are heating up or whatever. And then it's like a slow-mo of the shirtless scene. But it's a different shot than we got on the show. So I'm like, there's more. Give the people what they want. That's all. Which I guess could be something they could have done differently.
Watch them release it next year, Valentine's Day, or maybe the summer.
Oh, yeah, maybe
release
for hydration.
The Wilkinson cut. we didn't say thank you, Don Wilkinson either.
Yes, that's true. Thank you, Don Wilkinson.
No, thank you, everybody. Because, like, while this is a very serious academic media analysis podcast,
we also have eyes.
Yeah.
Listen, we couldn't not mention the hydration break.
I almost didn't. Let's skip it. Anyway, what could have worked differently better? My one note is, why was this not called Heated Rivalry?
Yeah. That's it.
I literally, like, I guess, like, why wasn't this called Heated Rivalry? Suggestions could have been also some line dancing. Maybe showing me Buck being able to eat hot chicken because he's very white.
So basically what could have worked differently or better is to make this 3 hours long.
Yeah.
That's all we want. And
give me 3 hours long, more interaction, more silly goofy time,
more Buck and Eddie on vacation.
Yeah, just like
doing all the things.
Just like same exact thing, just make it longer. We just want more.
It's like, give me the director's cut, but like the actual.
We'll take the dailies. That's fine.
The dailies.
Doesn't have to be color graded.
Yeah.
Just
I
like,
don't even think I have real complaints about this episode. And normally I have some complaints about most episodes of Nashville where I'm like, this
it's
I'm
not complaints.
actually
It's like critiques.
Yeah, but I don't think I have much about this. I think the only thing, which was like an unrealistic thing, which happens on these shows all the time, which was Eddie sticking the straw into the guy's throat without looking. Like I've watched, and again, I got my medical degree from Grey's Anatomy, but I've watched enough Grey's Anatomy and other medical shows to know that when they're like putting in the tube, they have to like actually get visualization so that they don't permanently fuck up people's vocal cords. And he didn't. He just like shoved that shit in there. As far as I could tell. It worked out for him though, I guess.
We hand wave so much of the medical stuff in these shows. Like, that didn't interrupt my viewing experience, but I am not a Grey's Anatomy doctor. So
neither am I, and I watch Grey's, but I'm just like, whatever, it's Eddie. He can do anything.
Yeah, Eddie can do anything. He has a silver star, okay? He doesn't need visualization.
Barbie. It's true. He could do it blind. All right. So how did these episodes work well together?
I really liked how they incorporated the firefighter games as a specific plot point in 9/12.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't just kind of like
at the end. Hey, we're going to go to Nashville.
Yeah. Well, because like with Lone Star, they kind of do it like in a very subtle way where like they're watching TV and they're saying like the fires in Texas or whatever. And then at the end, they're like, we're going to Austin or whatever. I liked that they made the firefighter games very intrinsic to the episode of 9/12, because then it also like, it's just, you could forego watching Nashville, but like you're missing so much.
You're missing story.
Fun and some story. And I think that really helps solidify how tied together these two episodes are, where it's like, you know, you could just watch Nashville and not see the little prequel that is 911 OG 9/12. So like they could stand alone, you know, ostensibly, but they're so much more rewarding to be viewed together. And I think that was done very, very well, because now it's like it's intrinsically tied together and you can't just like, or it's just like not as fun to just kind of like, I don't need to see the other one.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Another thing that worked really well together between the two episodes is how we get there, right? How we get to Nashville. So, which is Bobby. Bobby was the reason why Buck and Eddie were selected to go there. And I love that they incorporated like a moment for the 113 to also, well, mostly Don. Don had a connection with Bobby. He met him at a conference, or was it a conference in St. Paul?
I think so.
A conference in a firefighting conference in St. Paul. And, you know,
about ice rescue, I believe.
About an ice rescue, which I feel like that's a callback to like something he was like explaining something in season 5 about, or maybe it was season 3. There was something about that. I think that's a callback actually. And yeah, like we had a moment at the end of the episode, well, at the end of Nashville, where, you know, Don is giving a speech about Bobby, and like it was just really sweet, and it was just really nice to have somehow like having Bobby be kind of like the centerpiece of like also like connecting them together as well.
Yeah, it made it tied together even tighter than it would have otherwise. And I think we really liked that because, you know, there was a lot of thought about, Buck applied sort of thing and just kind of like sprung it on Eddie, or like, you know, different theories of like how this would come to be. But I don't think like we really put too much thought into like, maybe it was Bobby. But I really love that decision, you know?
It's the equivalent of, or the fanfic equivalent of Bobby having the HR papers ready for their like
in his desk
relationship disclosure.
Yes. Which could still be canon.
Yeah.
As far as I'm concerned.
All right, so we're going to introduce to you a new section that we're, for now, calling Actually, in which we explore one or two things that the fandom at large has maybe been saying that we have some things to actually about. So the first one is, quote, this is what the fandom is saying, not us. Buck and Eddie are out of character in the crossover. And I think one of the big reasons I was seeing was people saying that Eddie wanting to go out was like crazy. And actually, Eddie trying to cheer Buck up and get him back to baseline after noticing his parents' divorce is affecting him is completely in character. We've seen him do stuff like this before. Like, Buck is so high strung about the games. He was obviously concerned about Buck when he heard the news about his parents' divorce, and like he was visibly upset, but couldn't get him to talk about it. So like, of course he's going to try and like get him to like back to baseline Buck and not like mope in his room and be hyper focused and get more intense about the competition that he's already being intense about. And like, also, can a man just not have fucking whimsy anymore? Like a sense of adventure. These are in fact in character for him. Like when he's not bogged down with responsibility, he loves to go out and do things. It's just that he is in fact most of the time bogged down with responsibility, but he is a social butterfly. Like his calendar is full. Like we have found out in previous seasons that he has a regular secret fucking poker night that he goes to. And then he also does the pickup basketball game. Yeah. And like we know that he is just a little social butterfly. So like, what about everything we know about Eddie Diaz when he doesn't have to like only perform and be focused on his job and his kid? Would say that he would not want to like enjoy a vacation when he's being paid by his job to go to a new place he's never been. Like, why would he want to stay in a hotel room and watch tape
of previous firefighter games?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if it was like a fun movie or like a scary movie or something, I think it would have been fine.
Right.
But, Buck is Buck in this episode.
Yes. Buck is very Buck.
to two things here. We've absolutely seen Eddie try to lift Buck up out of like a very rigid kind of way of thinking, like in early season 3, where he was like, come on, get out of bed. You got to go do something. Go hang out with my kid. Go do something fun. Just like Eddie just trying to get Buck to like reroute a little bit. And also this is absolutely Eddie feeling freer, a la 806 Confessions, where he's dancing in his underwear. He's not performing. He's just doing it for the joy. This is that Eddie. It's so the lighter Eddie.
Go out and see a honky tonk as a man who canonically likes dance and is from the South.
Yep.
How is that out of character? That's crazy.
Yeah. And also like just to add the environment, it's not LA. It's not, he doesn't have to perform in a way like that he doesn't have the responsibilities, right? Like he doesn't have to take care of anyone right now. He doesn't know anybody. He doesn't know anyone. He can be who he wants to be. And he's with like his bestie that he's the most comfortable with. So I think he's not out of character.
No, he's just feeling his little silly, goofy side of himself.
Yeah.
And like, good. That's what we've wanted.
Okay. The second point is, actually, Buck is suffering from being a man who is competitive with some mixed feelings and resentment towards Blue and Ryan because they have their dad and Buck lost his and they get to call him dad and acknowledge and have that. And I feel like that's all completely in character, especially with what was just brought up again so recently.
It's a little triggering for Buck, maybe like on a subconscious level that he isn't fully aware of.
It's completely in character that he is weirdly competitive. Like this is clipboard Buck.
Yeah.
The most toxic version of clipboard fire marshal Buck we've ever seen. Especially because he keeps going, like, he's like, it's like a fire hazard in here when they go into the club. And I mean, I don't understand what about, like, is it the best version of Buck's self? Absolutely not. But there's so many times where Buck's not being the best version of himself that we still love him. 704, terrible form. Terrible fucking form. That's also in character. That kind of behavior is the same kind of personality traits that made this kind of shit happen in this episode.
Like, his crazy girlness. girlness.
It's his crazy girlness. When he can't deal with the emotions that are too big, he reverts to these like very cocky, confrontational Buck 1.0, I guess, esque more ways.
It's also because Buck is feeling the weight of like, he has to make Bobby proud because this is all because of him. So then he really gets into that like clipboard Buck mode because he's like, I can't let Bobby down. I have to do this for him. This is the only thing that matters right now.
Mm-hmm.
So he just kind of like hyper focuses, which we know he does, and just like goes all in. And I mean, hello, this is the same Buck as like 201 threatened by a new guy on the team. Like it's the same
It's the
thing.
same.
He just gets competitive, especially when he has to like prove himself, right?
Yeah. And I guess I'll touch on like, I think people don't like him flirting with Dixie at the end. And I'm just like, again, I don't understand how that's out of character, because first of all, I know for a second was like, they're going to hook up.
Yeah. And he loves attention.
He loves attention. And oh yeah, people were complaining about the Bachelorette thing too. Cause I don't understand, guys, just because he's ready to settle down doesn't mean that he has suddenly not become an attention whore. We literally in the previous episode before this on 911 OG confirmed that he is an attention whore. He loves it. He loves to be like flirted with. He loves to flirt with people.
He loves getting praised.
Exactly. It's validation for him. He loves it. So even though he's not going to be like sleeping around and hooking up with people, which again, I feel like is his right if he wants to, because just because you're ready to settle down doesn't mean that you suddenly are just never going to sleep with people until you're seriously in a relationship again. I don't think that's a backslide, even if that is what happened. But I don't see how that's out of character.
So like, I guess I also have to add, I mean, she only asked him for a drink. He could have, Mr. I want to settle down could also just have been like, I'm all right, going back to my room now. Like, you know what I mean? Like after they have like good conversation, because I'm sure they were going to have like fun, good, funny conversations. I'm pretty sure. Like this is Dixie.
I kind of feel like Dixie and Buck are similar in the way that sometimes they just like to flirt. Yeah,
it's the game.
Yes. And I feel like they could very much validate each other. And that's just like a great vibe. Like, I don't see the problem there. And I don't see the problem with Eddie, who spent that entire episode trying to get Buck to loosen up and have a good time, being like, yeah, I see that this is going to go well for you and give you the validation that I know you love to have because you're a fucking attention whore. Is a bad thing or out of character for either of them.
I feel like I'm side-eyeing, certain few who are just like that he can't talk to. I don't know. Like it just feels kind of bi-erasure-y a little bit.
It is.
Yeah.
A little bit. Also, she's in the proven type of women that he likes to date. Like he likes cougars.
That's canon.
It's literally the first relationship we've ever seen him have on the show. So I'm missing the part where this is out of character. I also did just want to say, to touch back really quick on him being just like, an asshole and being like antagonistic. I feel like there's several times where he's just rage baiting Ryan as a form of flirting. When we rewatched this last night, we were just side-eyeing some of the faces and behaviors that he was doing in Ryan's direction, because it was very classic Buck flirting. So I don't know. That's all.
All right. So our third point about them being out of character. Well, actually, the vibe on Nashville is like so much more dramatized. So they're going to be more dramatic, especially in their interactions with the Nashville characters. I mean, we already talked about Buck. I think Eddie's like friendly until he isn't. and then there's like just the whole like wanting to go out, and it's really like just slightly more exaggerated and dramatized just for the vibes of Nashville.
Well, and because they're not established characters on that show, so they can't treat the 911 Nashville audience as if they know who the fuck Buck and Eddie are. So it's kind of like they're not going to be doing deep character work on a crossover episode.
Exactly. Like, again, they have to kind of paint Buck and Eddie with maybe slightly more broad strokes then we would normally see, you know, the rest of the Nashville crew being handled by the writers that are like, you know, 12 episodes in. I wouldn't say it's a full like caricature, but it's just like, you know, they have to be painted a little more broadly.
Yeah. And to be a little bit more entertaining, because like the people who are watching Nashville who don't watch OG don't understand truly the struggles that they're going through in our current season. So we had to hype them up a little bit more. But I think they are hyped up in a way that makes sense.
Yeah.
At least it makes sense to us. That's just me.
Well, this is our show, so we're right.
True. And then the second kind of thing that we have been hearing whispers of on the street is they're shutting down Buddy in the crossover.
Like, no, they were never gonna go canon in the crossover. They were never gonna like give them, you know, give big hints of like, this is gonna happen. Because like, first of all, if/when Buddy goes canon, it's gonna be on OG. So they get the ratings for that. Like, just business wise, like bottom line. Secondarily, like what we were just saying, they have to paint fucking Eddie in such broad strokes. Like, you're not gonna get like the full backstory of the characters and their dynamics for them. And there's not enough time to even establish any of that in Nashville. So like, if they were to do that, first of all, in this crossover episode, it would be such a bad decision and poor writing decisions, because it's like there's no payoff with the OG
audience or with the Nashville audience either, if they're not a fan of OG. So it's like,
it doesn't mean anything.
They can't be doing like a ton of the queer coding work we've been doing on OG with Buddy, with setting that up and with, you know, laying more and more foundation to build up gay Eddie to happen, hopefully imminently.
Our second point to, they're shutting down Buddy in the crossover. Well, actually, brother, the word brother is a nothing burger. It's not like I'm sorry. Like, first of all, I think, okay, just to preface, us three are very desensitized to the word brother. We don't see it that way. We don't think of it that way. It's just many years of Supernatural has really like trained us to be like, whatever.
You can say brother as many times as you want to. Doesn't mean it's going to be true.
Yeah. Or, and again, it's just it's a different type of like term of endearment. To me, it's camaraderie and, you know, that kind of, it's in that direction, not in the literal sense of the word brother. Like,
yes,
no,
we are related and grew up together.
Yeah. That's not what he's saying.
And he also did it in like the Southern twang. Yeah. Like, so I think it was just like, you know, and then she's like, what's your name, cowboy? So I think it was just like all kind of a bit.
It was part of a theme. Yeah.
Yeah. It had nothing to do with, and if they, not that they ever would, but if they ever were going to be like, yeah, we're going to shut down the fans and make it clear we're never going to make Buddy happen, they would do that on OG too. And they wouldn't do it with brother, because they've had Buck and Eddie say brother two or three times.
It's weak.
Yeah.
Weak excuse to be like, no, they're
like just some real life examples for you of romantic people calling their romantic partner brother. You have Dan and Phil, apparently, which the internet has informed me of.
No,
there you go.
Not that. Sorry, that took me out. I'm actually, you know, I go there. So I'm like,
she goes there. Yeah. And if you don't know who Dan and Phil are,
where have you been on the internet
for the past like 2 decades?
Yeah, but they just came out as having been in a relationship for a very long time, and they've called each other brother. So that doesn't mean anything. Also, I say bro a lot. I don't know if I say it a lot on the podcast. I say it a lot probably in live streams. I type it out a lot, but I say bro a lot because it's not gendered. It's not towards anyone. It's just a form of expression. Funny. And my partner of almost 16 years, of almost 16 years, I have accidentally called him bro a couple times, and he's always just like, what bro? Like, it's always like LOL every time that happens. But you know what I mean? Like, it just means nothing, guys. Like, can we please just touch some grass? This is not the ciphered message you think it is.
Brother is not the end all be all shut down.
No.
Like,
It's never been.
No.
Especially not for us.
yeah. Anyone who comes from Supernatural
They
is
know.
well aware.
They know.
Yeah.
Very well aware.
Lastly, but not least, actually, what about how they wrote Eddie as giving heterosexual to you? Be so fucking for real. Because I have seen people saying that they like reverted back to like how they used to write him, or
What?
that they just, or that they like just dropped how they've been writing him
Eddie?
lately. Yes. And then we have the people talking about the bi erasure. And I would just like to be like, where is either of these things? First of all, the only way that we would have had brought up Buck being attracted to men in the way that the women were brought up is if Eddiemaxxing went, hey, want to go pick up some hot dudes. And that's not something he's ever said.
No, he's never going to say that. No.
And they're not going to have him say that for the first time on 911 Nashville. Again, who would they have had him of the main cast that's a man like canonically flirt with at the end?
Who knows?
The only queer man on that show is Taylor's roommate who has a partner. So I just don't know, like, and the one comment that I think people are picking up on is like when they get to the bar or whatever at the beginning, Buck and Eddie do, and he's like talking about how it's a fire hazard or whatever, and then he's like, you promised me bachelorettes. All I see are dude bros. Well, yes. Who is attracted to dude bros? That's not bi erasure. That's just his taste.
Yeah.
I just don't know why people are so hell-bent on like, if you didn't like it, you could just be like, I didn't like it. But I just feel like picking it apart for these reasons is just...
I will say there has been... Oh, poor Roxy has been not catching strays exactly, but people did think that there was something between, or like that Eddie may have, like, I don't know.
With the lesbian?
Well, we know she's a lesbian.
They could use Google and also know she's a lesbian.
I, like, literally, that's what I tweeted out. I was like, because, like, there were pictures, there were the behind the scenes pictures of, like, the three of them with her and the, you know, and, like, people were doing about that. And I was like, don't you guys know that she's a lesbian, guys? Like, if anything, Eddie's gonna queen out and kiki with her and Taylor.
So he was just like impressed. He was so impressed with how they handled that scene.
No, and there was that moment where she kind of like praised him a little bit. Well, yes, Eddie Diaz likes that actually.
Yes,
he was like, "Yay, I did a good job," because it was like such a makeshift thing. So like, there was nothing there. Like, I don't know. He's allowed to. He's
allowed to talk to women, guys.
He's allowed to talk to women and have friends.
So is Buck, by the way.
That too. Yeah.
He's allowed to still be attracted to women, by the way, because he's bisexual.
The only person he's not allowed to be friends with is Alex, because she's great. She's not great. She's not great.
Oh my God. The hour of our lives we lost last night while Syl and I talked about our hatred for Alex as a character.
Yeah, we lost a whole hour bitching about her.
Was I sleeping at that point?
No, you were awake. You heard us.
Okay. You were
making comments.
We were having a yelling conversation where you were like, what are either of you saying one at a time? And we were like, we can hear each other perfectly. What do you mean?
To circle back, he's allowed to talk to women and not have them be love interests. And yes, she's also part of that. She's just not allowed to be friends with him only because she's just terrible at her job. And we don't need that on his track record.
No.
Only competent people only.
Yeah. And as he displayed in this episode, he does not like incompetent people.
Oh, yeah.
In summary,
this actually meeting is adjourned.
Yeah.
The more you know. Okay. All right. So character moments. Okay, so starting off with Athena, not too much for our girl this week, but she did crack me the fuck up.
I love when Athena's used for
comedy
relief
and serving face.
I need her and Eddie in a scene where they're both being comedic relief because I think that would be fun.
Oh, that would be so good.
Yeah.
Submit that for your consideration.
Yeah, kind of like you bid on yourself on the auction. He's like, worth every penny, like that, but more. You know what I mean? But yeah, anyway, so she invites May over for dinner because she's like, I know my kids are fighting. And I'm going to try and just meddle a little bit without doing too much meddling. And they start having a very innuendo heavy, not being subtle at all about what they're talking about at the dinner table. And after May storms out, Harry's like, you're not going to ask what any of that is about. And she's just like, too busy eating pie. It's delicious. Like, she's just like, yeah, I'm going to eat my pie and not talk about like why my kids are arguing about one of their sex lives. That's none of my business, actually.
Yeah. Kind of to your point, and really intertwined in that scene, my highlight is basically her being like, she was such a meme because she was kind of like, has anyone tried the meme that where it's like, has anyone tried the chicken? I thought the chicken was lovely, which is also funny because they're also talking about chicken as an innuendo.
Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was offering chicken, and then she was like, you know what? Never mind.
She's like, maybe we should be done with the chicken.
Yeah.
Be done with the chicken. So just another funny thing that she said, because I think the only other time we see Athena in this episode is at the call at the beginning. And she always has like the best closing lines for like, you know, one of those calls. She's just like, land is overrated when she's talking about the girl who became the unwitting getaway driver for the guy who stuck up a convenience store. And the girl's just like, you have my number. I can be your one phone call from jail. And Athena's just like, land is overrated. I feel like Taylor Wong's purpose in life is to make Angela Bassett say the most out of left field, unhinged things. I'm also talking about like Masks in 805 when Athena was like, no cat, and Sigma and all this stuff. It's like, it's like some of the funniest things that Athena says are, I think, from Taylor Wong episodes. And I love that so much. That always brings us so much joy because it's like, it's so out of left pocket. But like, if you had the power to make Angela Bassett say anything, this is how you use it and use it well. So
use your powers for good.
I respect it.
Use your powers for comedy, actually, always. Okay, so then Harry and May. My highlight is just Harry being so fucking traumatized this entire episode. It was so funny to me. But the way that like right after it happens and like the next time they're on shift and he shows up and runs into Ravi and he's like, you know what? Actually, I'm just going to go change in my car. That's what I'm going to do. Like he's just a baby. He's too young for this. He's too innocent for this. It was just really funny. It took me out.
He's too young to have seen so much.
Yep. He's seen the horrors. He's been to war, seen his coworker naked.
So my highlight is for May at the dinner table, just being like, you know, like telling Harry, you know, it's none of your business what I do in my own home or my state of dressing. And then there's a point where like Harry's like basically grilling her on the auction and being like, I'm sure you felt so, you're such a philanthropist. I hope you get your money's worth. And then she's like, yeah, I got my money's worth and then some. I'm like, yes, girl, get it.
Dang, girl.
And she left. She was like, mic drop.
She really was.
Oh my God.
I also really loved Harry and May's conversation at the end of their episode where I think I mentioned it a little earlier in our episode review where they just like, you know, I'm an adult, you're an adult, we're on the same page with that now. So like, here are our boundaries, but we're always like brother and sister. And I thought that was great. But then it was also really funny then when Harry kind of took that same approach to Ravi and was like, you know what, you're an adult too. You can kind of do what you want. Except when Ravi said like, so it's cool if I date your sister. And Harry was like, absolutely not. You gotta transfer stations. It's just kind of like, okay, 2 steps forward, 1 step back.
Yeah.
But like in an enjoyable, funny, like humorous way.
Ravi, you were just comedy in this episode. And what I really enjoyed about you is how you're messy and how you would not like let Harry breathe about how uncomfortable he was. Like, you thought that was so funny. And the way he's so straight faced with it all too, but like all the innuendo that he's very clearly saying on purpose, but it is like he's just talking about work.
It's very sly.
It's like, so funny. It's so...
What was it like? You got to roll that tighter or else it's not going to fit in the bed.
In the house. In the bed. Yeah. And then it was the first time you saw him. He's like, I was thinking of getting out of these clothes. Like, he
knows what he's doing. Robbie's got jokes.
He will not let up. He's so funny. Yeah. I don't know where you get it from, but I would say I was not familiar with your game, but I was. I just don't think we've ever seen it specifically
at this
like
level.
At this level. I love it. Respect it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My highlight for Ravi was, well, basically his reveal in May's kitchen.
Oh my God.
And Harry running into that, and it's just like pure comedy from there, and very traumatizing for Harry. So great times. That was great.
So good.
Love that.
I guess I also just really liked that, again, at the very end, Ravi was like, so you wouldn't mind if I date your sister? And I'm like, he wants to date her. That's so cute. Because we don't know that much about Ravi. And it's like every little like nugget we get about his personality or his personal life, it's just like, yes, give us more. We want to see it. So
yeah, absolutely.
You know, it's like we didn't know if Ravi was single, if Ravi, you know, had a partner, or
we didn't know shit.
What? We didn't know anything, but that answers some stuff.
On to Chimney. I will say, I should have said this, I guess, in my things that I would improve, but this is just in general for the show. If we're going to be out here whoring out Eddie and Buck and Ravi, why are we not also whoring out Chimney Han? You know, why is his shirt always on?
Because he's the captain. He has to set an example.
But we see him at home.
Well,
like,
you know
come
what?
on.
That's true.
Yeah.
Just give me. It's been seasons. Thank you.
Maybe soon.
Anyway.
Maybe one day.
Wait, should we just reiterate that for the wish list as well?
Maybe. But I just thought of it right now because I was like, oh, Chimney. We were talking about how they need to whore you out again. We were talking about that because we just watched season 3 and started 4 again. And we were like, oh, remember the good old days when they whored him out? Anyway, my moment for Chimney.
In this episode of the Buddy System, we talk there's so much. Why in the last between episode 11, I almost said it, between episode 11, episode 12, and then the crossover, we've gotten so much more like less shirt than we ever have before.
Which is great, but I just would like less shirt for Chimney sometimes too. You know what I mean? Just like equal treatment.
No, it's correct. It's just like it's just like 3 episodes of like
in a row. Yeah.
Like it's a lot, like more than normal.
It is way more than normal.
Not complaining, just an observation.
Anyway, Chimney, my moment for Chimney in this episode was when he went over to like break up the fight with Harry and Ravi, and then he found out what they were talking about, and he turned around and made the most yikes face ever, because as the captain of the sister fuckers, he had to resign from that conversation. Actually, like he had no leg to stand on.
Absolutely not.
He had to leave.
He realized he stopped in his tracks and he retreated very wisely.
So none of my business.
As you were, kind of love that contrast between like Chimney as captain and then like Bobby as captain, because Bobby would have like probably tried to help weigh in or something, like mediate, and Chimney's just like, not my business, not my circus, not my monkeys, even though it kind of is.
I feel like this would have been a very different situation had Bobby been involved, because that's his stepdaughter. Ooh. Would have been a very different episode.
Yeah.
I feel like he'd be doing like a very light version, like an indirect version of the shovel talk, if that makes sense.
Like,
not a true
he
one,
would just be haunting Ravi, just like standing ominously with an axe every time he looked up in the firehouse. Like,
oh my God,
Ravi's going to be like, I actually do need to switch stations.
It would be like the way Bobby is just always in 201, just like always in the background, like
that's what I was
like
imagining.
Watching. Yeah, it would be the same.
Yeah, but ominous version.
Yeah,
just
like him peeking out, like
not how are my Yowie stocks doing?
Well. Oh, Bobby. Oh. We have a moment for you. My highlight for Chimney, it's not really a highlight. He just has his moments where he's funny without meaning to, which is, par for the course really for him. Like he kind of has a little bit of actually, it's not really like a foot and mouth disease type of situation here, but like he just says things and it's just funny. Okay, fine. Like for example, okay, like Buck's like, when they're finding out like that a captain has to submit, the recommendation for the games, and he's like, "Oh, I didn't know you had that much faith in me." And then Chimney's like, "I don't." He said, I didn't. He says, "I didn't." And I'm just like, "Oh no." And then he's also like, "Oh no." And then
he's like, "Wait."
Then he has, well, this might go to Rachel a little bit, but like he's also just like not reading the room because I think Buck is like,
Buck says, "I'm not really set up for guests." He's like trying to make it clear that like his parents are welcome to like hang out and visit, but they have to move the car for street cleaning day. Like they can come back, but like they can't keep it there for the street cleaning. Like he's trying to casually, not very subtly, be like, "You guys can't stay here.
This is a bachelor pad."
Yeah. And then Chimney not reading the room is like, "You have a guest room, Buck," which, well, we'll talk about that later. But yeah, so like foot and mouth. That's what he has. He just not reading the room or not realizing what he's saying.
Oh, Chimney, love you so much. It's kind of related to what Sil was saying, but just like the way Chimney is just like basically so awkward this entire episode. I love. It's so great
because that's our guy. I'm glad that captaincy has not changed.
That's our silly little guy. Like
just an awkward little bean.
Like if you watch the scene where Margaret and Philip come in to Buck's house at the beginning of the episode, Chimney is just like so funny, like in the background for most of it. He's just kind of like, "This is awkward because you don't have a great relationship with your parents, so I don't really know how to do it either." And then at one point, like when Margaret comes in and like Chimney like puts his arms out for a hug, he's just kind of like, eh. I don't know. It's just so funny because of the nature of Maddie and Buck's relationship with their parents. He doesn't really know, like, does he be the mediator? Does he, how to have, he wants to have Maddie and Buck's backs. But sometimes it's just like, it's awkward. And then again, with walking into that conversation with Harry and Ravi is just, I'm a head out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I just love it.
Okay. Girl Maddie. Always a real one. I think that this was so funny of her to do. And this is just like me reading into this contextually, I guess. But like Buck says something like when she's over visiting and he's like taking his frustration feelings out on a tire in the backyard, exercising. And she's just sitting there drinking lemonade.
What a mood.
She's like, "Yeah, I probably shouldn't do that under the influence." And he's like, "Of what? A sugar rush of your like third glass of lemonade?" And so 3 drinks, mind you, right? So Buck's probably had just as many. And she's like, "Oh no, I put vodka in mine and in yours." So I was like, oh, she went over and was like, "Here's a little truth serum because I need you to actually talk about how this is making you feel." But yeah, just that, she's always there to like try and get him to open up. But she was just funny about it this time.
Yeah. My highlight for Maddie was her and Buck being kind of like a united front during the dinner because like Buck was already sussing the Buckleys out. Like, why are you going on these trips across the country? And like, you have your bucket list items that you want to do and you haven't even gone to certain ones and you're selling the camper. And then he's like, "Wait, are you sick?" And obviously they're like, "No." But then like Maddie's like, no, hold on. I'm actually... He's right. What is happening? So like, yeah, I just like that they were very like united and sussing out their parents and even before, like when they arrived, they did the little like the pinky swear, and I thought I love that callback.
I love whenever they do that. It's just like, that's so them.
Yeah.
I kind of really loved how shaken up Maddie was about her parents coming to visit, but then also with the news of the divorce. Like, she's taking it so hard, like harder than you would kind of think, right? But I think it's because of the nature of the different kind of relationship she has with her parents than Buck does. Because, you know, at the very beginning, Maddie's like, you know, don't you have any like better coffee table books? Like, you know, sprucing things up, making sure everything is just so. And there's just this like kind of like Chimney, but a little different. This like wanting to impress, but also kind of like not wanting to be too close. Because when Margaret picks up baby Nash and is like, oh, someone needs a diaper change. And Maddie's just like, I got him. And just basically like yoinks her baby out of her mother's arms. Is just like, let me take a break. And yeah, just how she's so affected by this divorce. Because she saw how, I guess like, you know, when she was so young, she saw how her parents went through some of the hardest stuff anyone could ever go through, and they stuck together. So like, you would think, kind of like what Chimney says to her after the dinner, it's like, you would think after, you know, the early years and the kids and everything, it would be easy. So
I like that her and Buck got in the car after that dinner and Googled
oh my God,
gray divorce. I was like, that's my neurodivergent siblings.
That was going to be my second one that I forgot.
Dives.
Mm-hmm.
Cute.
They absolutely would do that.
All right. Well, strap in because this might be our last section of this in a post-8 season episode. We'll see. But honorable Bobby section, guys.
So, yeah. Definitely, like, before we get to Buck and Eddie, like, let's pour one out.
Yeah, pour one out.
Pour one out
for Bobby.
For our Fujoshin captain, Bobby Nash, who's
haunting the narrative in the best way.
Haunting the narrative. His so like no grave can. That's why I was like, let me do the intro for this.
Got it. Okay,
but it's fine. It's fine. We'll roll with this one. So like so Bobby, no grave can hold his Fujoshin Bobby down. So yeah, he's Fujoshin from the grave.
Yes.
What a true warrior.
It's like the buddy shipper of all time in universe. Like
he was the first one.
He was. He met Eddie and he said, I created the buddy ship.
He saw the potential.
Make it happen. I'm creating the meet cute, which is kind of a meet ugly, but
yeah.
Yeah.
I love meet uglies.
Me too. Right. They're so much cuter, the meet cutes.
Yeah.
But anyway, so my highlight for Bobby, who's not even alive in this episode, is how much faith he had in Eddie coming home to LA, the 118, and obviously Buck, that he's submitted both of them for the firefighting games to go together. And like, just that he was like, it was right after he moved, right? Like a year ago.
Yeah.
Like he had only been down there for a couple months and he was just like, you'll be back in a year.
Oh, Bobby.
Oh, Bobby.
I love him. He said, over my dead body, are you
staying in El Paso?
Staying in El Paso.
And it really came to fruition.
I don't know. I think, and I think you already said my thing. So it's kind of like, he signed them up. I mean, we already said this. Like he signed them up, and
which is diabolical. I just wish he would have booked them a room with only one bed. That could have been the only thing that made it better. You know?
Yeah.
But what was he plotting? What was Peepaw plotting?
Yeah. So interesting. What was going through his head?
Like maybe because like they were, you know, Buck and Eddie were going through their little tiff and sob stories. He saw that and he was like, they're going to come back, but there's probably going to be like issues where, you know, like this is team building, but like also buddy building. Come on. So like this is a retreat for them so that they can be alone together in a different state away from us so they can maybe deal with their marital issues, which, hey, it worked out. Still happening.
Well,
but it's kind of it's like, ooh, because
Bobby is also the reason they're about to go through a horror movie, though.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
I mean, listen, Bobby always does things with good intentions.
He's true.
He just
he can't control everything. Okay,
exactly. He's not. No. He doesn't have like that over. You know, he can't see into the future. He probably should now that
especially
he's dead.
He can't see anything. He's dead.
Bobby really said, "Will you go to the firefighter games next year? You could have a week, maybe even 2.
But he didn't tell him.
Together. It's all part of the master plan."
I wonder how it would have gone down if he was alive. Like, surprise!
Yeah.
I mean, they definitely wouldn't have said. I don't know how it would go down. but just like surprise.
Yeah, that
I would read that fic, though.
I didn't see one person on the internet predict this, so that was a shock that made me fucking burst into tears. So that was upsetting deeply.
Yeah,
but like in a good way.
In a good way, yeah.
Yeah, and then I just really loved how much of a lasting impact Bobby has, just like on such a grand scale that even Don Hart has met him one time and like that made an impact on him and understands how Buck and Eddie kind of see Bobby, and Bobby has impacted Buck so much that even Philip Buckley understands what Bobby meant to Buck. Like, what a legacy, you know? And I just love that. It's like Bobby's reach is ever reaching, you know? And he's always bringing people together.
Yeah.
I love him. Love and miss him. But this is part of the good stuff where it's like we get to, it's bittersweet, but like we also get to enjoy it. Like we were just laughing about it, but we're like, oh, wish he could have been here. But like it's still good.
Yeah. He's still there spiritually.
Yeah. He is the spirit of the games.
Literally. So many spirits in that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, for Buck, my moment is, I think I already mentioned it, but like earlier in the review, but I think it's so huge. For the first time, getting to recognize and talk about out loud, like what Bobby was to him. And
it's so special.
I can't think of like a better person for him to be able to talk to about it, because he gets to like talk to someone who doesn't really know about him. So like he could really go into detail, because it's like, I think the 118 understands what that relationship was, but it's not like in everyone's grief he has the space to be like, I really wish that like I could talk about this, because I don't really have like closure in that.
And it's different talking about someone you've lost with like someone who knew them also, because then you
have to deal with their own grief of them too.
Their own grief and their relationship. But it's just like, this is something that is purely Buck and Bobby, that like, he just gets to honor that. And while we were watching, I was like, do you guys think this is the first time Buck actually feels seen by Philip?
Yes.
By his dad. And it's because Philip like kind of recognizes that Bobby is more of a dad to Buck than he was. Yeah. It's just like, it's still not even about Buck, technically.
Hey, bring Philip back. Have him be like, I know you've been in a relationship for a while. When are you going to like tell me about Eddie? You know what I mean?
Oh my God.
Ooh, wait. Wish list.
You put that on the wish list.
Yeah.
When are you guys? It would probably be like a when are you guys getting married kind of thing. Because of who the Buckleys are. You should probably make an honest man out of him, son. I just think that would be funny.
Yeah. Okay, my highlight is Buck being an absolute menace, affectionate to the Nashville crew. Like just his rivalry with Ryan, with him like creeping out the girls a little bit. Like they were creeped out. They were like, oh, never mind. I mean, of course, like the whole bit was Don enlisted the 113 to kind of like sabotage or find out info about the other teams and stuff. But like, it's just so funny. Like he's so intense that everyone was just like, you know what? Never mind. He's intense about like the dish, the casserole that Blue made. To the point that he was able to sniff out what kinds of
cheeses, which is
like a dog.
Actually so accurate.
That's so crazy, my guy.
He's crazy.
Like, I love Crazy Girl.
Wouldn't you like to know? And they were like, okay.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Okay. That could be enough conversation with you.
And they're like, we're done. We're good.
We're good.
Yeah.
We're all set.
Yeah. Yeah. So funny. Loved it.
Every interaction Buck had with like trying to one up everybody on the Nashville team was so funny. It was just like so well paired with the competitiveness of Dawn and Ryan.
Oh, and putting Eddie through it actually, because of like Eddie's just trying to have a meal. Eddie's just trying to kiki with the girls. Eddie is just trying to like work out in peace. And here comes clipboard menace Buck with this whole like, no, you gotta show him up too, like in the gym.
This is how Eddie's ankles get broken. Like,
oh my God.
And then I also really loved how Buck, Maddie has been so big sistery as of late, like giving her words of wisdom. But this, I think, was an opportunity for Buck to kind of do the same for Maddie when they were talking over the lemonade and telling Maddie that, our parents have never been the kind to like fight for each other to get back to each other or anything like that. But like the family that we've created together is, and like that's like our true family, and just kind of like give her that little like nugget of wisdom that I think really helped Maddie feel better as well. So it's like just peak siblingism.
Yeah. Okay, Eddie. Oh, Eddie.
Welcome. What a couple episodes for him.
It's just what a season for Eddie in general. My God. Like I've always loved him so much, but just this season is making me even more just like enamored with him. He's so fucking cute. My highlight for him is just how excited he was to have like a fun work vacation in Nashville. Like he shows up and he's like, this is a vibe. And I like, it just reminded me of like, I've been to, several cities where I'm like, but sometimes you're just like, it kind of like it matches your vibe. And then you're really excited to explore it. So that's kind of what I was getting from that. And then he's so excited. He's like ready to go out. 7:30, Buck's hotel room. And Buck is in his pajamas. And he's like, excuse me. No, we're going to go out
here.
Where's the person who normally has the itinerary of all the fun shit we're going to do? I have to be this person. And he's like, I want to go out.
tosses
the room service menu. He's like, I want to go out. I like, don't you want to have the hot chicken? Don't you want to like go to the honky tonks? Like he wants to do shit. He's excited. He's on vacation. He's had a hard time lately. He just wants to have fun with his bestie.
Yeah. My highlight for Eddie is like, oh my God, no. So he's trying to be like nice and cordial and be friends with, especially with the Nashville crew. But as soon as Blue pushes Buck, the gloves were off. They were off. And then after that, like after, that scene is going triple platinum on the timeline. So like him getting up and him pushing Blue. After that, it's like, all right, I'm competitive now. I want to fight. We're not friends. He's looking at Ryan like he's giving Ryan like the death glare. It's just so he's judging them so hard during the car call.
Oh my God.
Or the accident. Oh my God.
Blue. Oh my God.
He was just
he was about to throw Blue off of the dumpster.
He does not like incompetency.
No, because it's in their job. You can't afford.
No.
You can't afford to make those mistakes. Like
it's like you're
and he doesn't know Blue's background. Like
no, but he's not wrong.
He's not wrong.
Exactly. You're slow. You didn't know what you were doing. You didn't have tools on you because you were like, it's a competition. And he's like, Boy Scouts, always be prepared. Like,
yeah. He was like, at that point, like Buck should have been like, he has a silver star. He's an army medic. Like, you know what I mean? Like at that point, like to like show off his like, he's not a show-offy person. Buck could have done that for him. But like, it's like, put respect to my name kind of thing. Like, you know what I mean? Because like, he's experienced, he's competent. And then he's just showing them up. It's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The gloves
and he's ready.
were off.
He's ready to like take him down.
Yeah. All right, it's time for Queer Eddiemaxxing. Woo-woo-woo. This is not going to be as long as our last couple ones, so don't worry. The Buddiemaxxing section's going to be long.
Hey, they gave us a double dose of Buddy, so
yeah, they really did. When Buck and Eddie finally go out on the town, they're in a bar, quote, full of frat bros and trucker hats, unquote. And apparently that's where Eddie wanted to go out too, because the bachelorettes, they had to really like dig around to find them.
We said, oh, we're so sure.
Yeah.
So that was funny. I don't know, like but it was so funny.
It was like, it's the bachelor capital of the world. And he's like, fine, okay. And then they walk into a bar and it's all men. And Buck's like, I was led here under false pretenses. It's all frat. It's all frat bros.
I'm sorry. Where was their erasure? See above, basically. Not see above.
Yes.
See several like minutes ago where we were talking about our actually section. But like, come on, guys. A bar full of bros and trucker hats.
Mm-hmm. And then we have a very weird section called Buck blocking Eddie's joy, which is kind of thematic, lining up with how he's like, we've talked about him leaning on the closet door, Eddie's closet door, and like contributing towards the competitory, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we saw him in 9/12 standing in front of the video games that he's just trying to enjoy in his own home with his child.
Another instance is him Buck trying to keep Eddie from exploring Nashville and having fun and, you know, having a nice fun out in the town.
He had to beg him. He was like, this is what I want.
Oof.
This is what I want. Like he had to. And it was like normally with Buck, it would just be like, this is what I want to do. And like he'd go with it because it's what Eddie
wants to
said.
do.
But he had to like beg him and then like wave the bachelorette thing in front of him. Yeah.
And then the way Buck kept Eddie from his potential, you know, little treat of eating the Boogie's blowout casserole that Blue cooked up. And Eddie looked so excited to have a little bite of it and was just like, oh yeah, like rubbing his hands together. Like, I can't wait to dig in because we know he loves, I mean, he loves a treat. This is a savory treat.
Yeah.
But we know he loves those.
Food, man.
And the way Buck was just like, yeah, no, we see what you're doing and we're going to go work out. And the look that Eddie gives Buck,
the look of betrayal.
So betrayed, just like, you're getting in between me and my food. My joy of eating some food. Real sad.
It is.
And then to finish it off, he's being forced to exercise instead of eating the casserole. And Buck starts adding more weight to the bench press to like try and keep up with the other people in the room. Like, and he's like, no, Buck, no more weight. And he just does it anyway. So it's just like, I don't know. It was also funny to me because it really just seemed like the kind of vibes we were getting in 907 with the like, I'm going to make you date even though you don't want to. And it's like, I'm going to make you do all these things you don't want to, or make you not do the things that you want to do. It's like, why are we doing that?
With the adding more weight in the gym, it was like,
oh my God.
Like Eddie is actively trying to unrepress. And here we have Buck. Just like, he doesn't realize he's doing it, of course. Right. But it's just so funny for us to watch.
Let him experience his goddamn joy. God, I can't deal with you, Buckley. Anyway. And then we just have, to wrap up Queer Eddiemaxxing for this episode, a couple looks, capital L. And they all take place in the crossover episode on Nashville. So the first one. So Eddie walks down the hall because they're in separate rooms, knocks on Buck's door. Buck opens the door, and Eddie looks straight ahead and then down. And I'm like, bro, that's not where his eyes are. Like, why?
He's taking in the PJ-ness of it all.
That's not where he was looking. He was very close to him, and it was very much like if it was a woman, it would be like, her eyes are up there, bro.
The hatred in his eyes at Blue and Ryan after they put their hands on Buck. I mean, I already know it. I already talked about it, but like, my God, bro, my God, because like murderous. He wanted to throw down so bad.
Yeah, he's like, try and touch him again. No, really, please.
No. And then like when Ryan put his hands on, like he like, I don't know, slapped him in the chest, and he looked down and he looked up. You know, he really wanted to. He really wanted to fight him again. It was so over.
And then at the very end of this episode, where it's just Buck and Eddie at the bar, so interesting to watch this and then rewind and then watch it back, and then because it's Eddie looking at Buck, and then at some point it does seem that Eddie's like looking over and acknowledging Dixie, who probably just sat down right over there. He does like a little nod and then looks back to Buck. And when Dixie says, who's gonna buy me a drink, and Eddie's just like still looking at Buck, giving him the little like, do you want to take this, and leaving.
It's literally, if you look at the face that he's making at Buck without the context of like the rest of that scene, it's very, what are we doing? And especially on the heels of the faces that he was making at Buck at the auction in 9/11, it's just like, hey, what are we doing? Hey, because those are very flirty eyes. sir. Those are very like want to get out of here eyes. And why are we doing them while you're encouraging him to stay and flirt with another woman? Your brain is a mess, bro.
Yeah, it's I don't know. There's something like they're so full of like twinkliness.
Oh my God.
In there a little bit. And it's just like, what's going on inside your brain?
Those heart eyes were so big. Like, I don't know. It was a lot. There was a lot going on in that look.
Yeah, just a lot of Eddie looking, which we love.
We do.
Yeah, and it is kind of hard to describe. It's just like you just have to like see it and like experience it. Just be like, oh.
I literally, if I was out at a bar and someone looked at me like that, I would think that they were trying to take me home. That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yep, agreed.
Time for Buddiemaxxing. All right, we have several sections in Buddiemaxxing tonight.
We're Buddiemaxxing. It was the Buddy double feature power hour. Like
they could have made it a triple feature and put us out of our misery.
The one episode,
I know,
man.
I just want to watch it.
I know, me too.
So 13. Yes.
Well, the good news is when people are hearing this episode, that's the day that 9/13 comes out. So congratulations.
You made it.
Everyone listening. We all made it. But yeah, our first section is the Buckley-Diaz family's reunited. We're restoring.
And it feels so good.
Yes. Nature is healing because this is the first time we've seen Buck and Eddie's house since 8/17.
God.
It's been so long. It's
You're
also
right.
crazy that we had Eddie at Buck's house first. We also find them on the Diaz couch, like all three of them for the first time, because the last time we had them on a couch together, like Buck, Eddie, and Chris, was 309.
Yeah. And it's the only other time we see the three of them on a couch together.
And it was on Buck's couch at the loft.
Yeah.
Now we have it at Eddie's house.
The very famous conclusion of the wanna go for the title, which I don't know is kind of fitting in an episode preceding an episode where they go for the title of firefighters. So intentional? I don't know.
I think so.
So with all three of them on Eddie's couch, this is like the first time that Buck and Eddie are next to each other on the couch, like neighboring cushions. Because usually, or in that last time in season 3, it was like Chris in the middle.
Yeah.
No.
We've seen Buck and Eddie on a couch together before. Like most notably, the last time we saw that was in Confessions, but they're on opposite sides of the couch, leaving room for Jesus. Most notably, they did not leave any room for Jesus because their knees are touching.
Yep. Oh my God.
Which leads us, I guess, to our second section called Married Behavior.
So much.
I don't know that we need to really go deep into these. This is just like, these are things that you do when you're in a relationship with someone for a long time and or married. So correcting each other. Actualing each other. Buck's like, I don't know what hat to get. Should I get a blah, 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 or a rodeo? And Eddie's like, it's rodeo.
How LA of Buck to say rodeo. Like,
yeah.
And then we have like Eddie pausing the game when he learns about like the Buckley parents' divorce. You know, he gives Buck the opportunity. He gives him like concerned looks, and you know he's like, you don't want to talk about. And then Buck's like, no, I'm good, which is actually like very. It gives 8/17 vibes. Like Eddie saying, doesn't seem like it's fine, you know. But overall, like it's them like being able to kind of. Like, or Eddie specifically in this case, being able to read when something's wrong.
Yeah, totally. And then the way Eddie just reaches into the dresser at the hotel in Nashville and pulls out Buck's clothes, like he knows exactly which drawers Buck would keep which items of clothing in, how he organizes it, and picks out the outfit that he wears. Like, Buck wears that outfit out. He's just like, okay. You know, and he just like blindly grabbed. He looked at both outfits, and I think the one that he put back was the one that Buck wore to the bar after the games with that plaid shirt. But he's just like, yes, here's the one I want you to wear tonight, and then he just does. It's great, and it was a good outfit too. So like, taste.
This is a classic thing. One of them wants to stay in, and the other one wants to go out.
That's like peak married behavior. I'm sorry.
It's peak married behavior. It's giving Buck is the boring ass husband and like Eddie's the hot young wife who like wants to go see the sights, you know. Want to go out. It's the flick.
Oh my God. That was so funny. It's like,
And then we have Eddie pulling out his tried and true 5-step routine to walking Buck like a dog, but obviously it doesn't work. So he has to resort to bachelorette party.
yeah, like, can we talk about that for a second? Because it's Eddie going through that list of all of the things that he knows would appeal to Buck. He's like, this place is world famous, like lots of stuff to learn about, lots of stuff to like, go diving on Wikipedia on. Don't you want to try the hot chicken?
Don't you want to go to the honky tonk?
Oh, the honky tonk. And then it was the hot chicken. So like, no.
I read that this is the bachelor capital of the world.
And yeah, so he's like scraping the bottom of the barrel to like, get Buck to be interested, and Buck kind of, I think, realizes that's the bottom of the barrel, and he's like, okay, fine, sold.
He's like, I feel bad that you resorted to that, so I will go out.
Yeah, exactly. And it was like also talking about the looks, like the look that Eddie gave when he delivered like, okay, this is my final offer, was just like the way his eyes like
staring into the distance. Like, I also read that it's the bachelorette capital, and then he looks back over like, you better fucking say yes, or I'm gonna literally drag you out of here, you piece of shit.
Yeah, he gave him the please eyes, like, come on. And then also for married behavior, when Buck just keeps speaking for Eddie in the firehouse when they meet everybody at the 113 officially, and keeps Eddie from eating the casserole, is like, no, we're gonna go over there. We're not gonna tell you which games we're looking forward to the most. He's elected himself the spokesperson for both of them.
Eddie was not jazzed.
No.
But he is a good husband, so he said nothing.
Yeah. Like, what was that? I want to make some friends.
Yeah, I love his fake ass smile when you can tell he's about to fucking yell at Buck. It's great.
It's the same smile that it's the same looks that he does in sob stories when during the subletting.
It's like, what are you doing?
That whole thing is very much like sob stories.
I'm honestly like, I know they definitely weren't going to do it here, or they could have, because of the TK thing. They could have been like,
there could have been a nod, but I just think because of how they're slow rolling the gayness in general on Nashville.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
But still, I think it's starting to become a little unrealistic that they haven't been, confused as an actual married couple or just a couple in general.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
I don't know. I kind of think that will happen when
one of them has their feelings realization.
It's like that phenomenon that I forget what the name of it is called, but it's like if you hear or see a word that like you're not super familiar with, and then it's like all of a sudden you see it everywhere.
Okay.
So like it's like, do you really see it more after that first time, or is it like you're just now aware of it? So I think like if Buck and Eddie are like
unreliable narrator,
but it ties into the idea with Maddie being like, it wouldn't be so crazy, and but he shoved that down so hard.
Oh yeah, for sure,
because that would have been opportune. That would have been one of those opportune of being like, but he still is subconsciously doing it, where he's just like, I don't know, I don't want to look at this, so I have to do comp tango, basically.
Yeah. So I think like once one of them is like actually aware of their feelings, then it's going to be like an inundation of like, everybody knows. So they're just going to be more aware of other people, like, or thinking that other people are thinking of that about them.
Yeah.
But then in more Breaking Buddy news, we have the bachelorettes at 6:00 at that bar, that they had to go through the horde of frat bros and trucker hats to find. But it's so interesting that we get not only another like analog clock direction sort of thing like we did in 907, but once again, Buck and Eddie are right in front of each other when they're saying that. So like, that's just interesting.
So interesting that we're doing it again and doing the like 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, whatever.
Clock. There's clocks.
Then we have a moment that literally made me pause and rewind during the live watch twice. Buck winking at Eddie during the competition. It was after Eddie won
the fire truck
pull. Like, yeah, he liked that.
Because he loves when Eddie is strong and competent and like, ooh, he got to watch that whole thing.
Yep.
What a treat.
Yeah. Then that was married behavior, because if they were actually married, and he would have been like, yeah, I'm going to show you how much I love that later. That's what that was giving, except they're just best friends. So, hey, what are we doing? Questions.
We can't answer that, or we will go on a 30-minute rant.
Oh, I know.
Another married behavior trait.
Are the one who keeps getting this one.
I keep getting this one. Eddie said, do not touch my guy. Again, bark, bark.
No, we rewound this many times, actually.
Oh, God.
We were like, again.
Again. Yeah.
Because, like, he was so, like, trying to de-escalate. Like, he was still, like, having Buck's back, but he was, like, not trying to, like, quite be as antagonistic as Buck, but he was being like, Nepo babies with him, like, rolling his eyes.
Yeah.
But he was not getting involved, like, with the active as far as Buck was. But as
the
soon as we counted it, I think it was 4 or 5 frames after Blue touched Buck, he fumed over there and he got really low because he's a fighter.
For the momentum.
For the momentum, so that he could push that really tall fucking He's got several inches on him. Like, he makes Eddie look small, and Eddie's 6 feet tall, so
he makes Buck look small.
No, he tapped into
Buck look small. He makes Buck look normal.
He definitely tapped into his special skills, like some fighting, like actual fighting, and like really got him.
Yep.
He was like I keep saying, the gloves were off. Yeah, and it was time. Like, it was time for him. That switch up was so interesting. As soon as Buck got hurt, well, not hurt, but pushed, Eddie's whole like vibe of like, we should be friends, Buck, like, chill, became just like, no.
It was like a declaration of war.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, especially after like the heels of the episodes of reminding that like he's not an angry person anymore, and like he doesn't resort to this like anymore, but it's just like, no, I will fucking throw down actually if you are trying to come at my guy. So
exactly.
So Syl noticed a blurry thing on our rewatch, which is when you come back from the commercial break after the fight and you see the fight again, but from, I can't remember his name, but the
POV from the guy.
Yeah. POV from the guy who was in the car crash, like seeing the fight. You can see that Eddie's hand is on Buck's back at the beginning, like when they're like, arguing before Blue actually touches him. And then his like, as it escalates and they're getting a little antagonistic, like he moves his hand onto his arm. So he's like trying to keep the peace, but like trying to keep Buck grounded. Just
noticing. Hashtag noticing.
Hashtag noticing.
Oh, blurry buddy.
Blurry buddy are great.
Strikes again.
All right. Okay, strap in, folks, because we've got a very substantial parallels and symbolism section for Buddiemaxxing this week, because I don't know, talk to Chris Monfett and Taylor Wong,
who are always so good about continuity.
Yeah.
And I feel like we saw that a lot with both of their all of their previous episodes in this season. So like episode 10 when it was both of them together, and with 905 with Monfett and Savard, and Family History, which was 906. Yeah, they just like keep bringing a lot of these older things up. That really interesting how often they do it and how like well they utilize it.
Yep. So the first thing is from the very beginning of the episode with Viv and Joey. Is his name Joey?
Yes.
I don't know. I've just been calling him what's his face.
It's Joey, but he deserves what's his face.
So he's like, this is after he's trying to talk her into like evading Athena. And he's like, you feel that? And she's like, feel what? It's like, your heart is racing. She's like, yeah. He's like, yeah, that's excitement. Isn't that what you've been looking for? Adventure? Something to take your breath away? This is it, baby. Just you and me. And she's like, you and me? So it reminded me of 907 and Eddie, well, the call at the beginning with like the Dom sub, and Eddie afterwards saying, something about two perfect weirdos finding each other is inspiring. So, like buddy freak for freak, but also, I know this isn't the foreshadowing section, but this is where I wrote it. So possible foreshadowing for 913 and just buddy development in general.
Mm-hmm.
But like also Viv and like they were in a car accident, like while Bonnie and Clyding it. So like I feel like that's just going to be directly foreshadowing and paralleling the accident that we know is happening.
Yeah.
913. So it's just freak for freak. You know what I mean? It's not calling Buck and Eddie criminals, just some freaks.
So at the fire station, after Eddie finds out that Bobby signed him up for the games, he's like asking, okay, so what are we doing? And Chimney's like, this is a friendly competition where you make meaningful relationships with other firefighters that will last a lifetime. Chimney saying this, well, okay, there's a couple layers actually. Chimney, our Captain Han, saying this to Buddy, and the past reiteration of the captain is the one who brought them together. So like, that's a lot. And it's, like that's basically what it is for them. Buddy has a very, very meaningful relationship that is going to last a lifetime.
It's called back to 201 where it's like you guys have to get along. And it's like, well, you wanted us to bond. We might end up real close.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, talk about a meaningful relationship.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think when we're at the call with the husband and the wife, or the cheating husband and the wife, and the competency king that the wife, I think her name is Vanessa, has with her husband, like fixing all of the stuff, and then just like she's like, like you fixing things or makes me feral, and he's like talking pipe to her or whatever, like all of these like absolutely cringeworthy euphemisms.
Yeah, I mean it's cringe, right?
Yeah,
but it's giving when Buck is telling the story to Ravi in 811 about Eddie changing the boot on his car and how Eddie has a silver star, and it's like, like we can only assume really the general look that Buck is giving him when Eddie's doing competent stuff.
Yeah,
I mean, we see it in 901 when he jumps off the bridge. Can't forget about that. So
true. I mean, just like Eddie does anything and Buck looks at him with like, wow, impressed.
Learning that he stopped talking to Tommy.
Never seen that man more turned on our screen. Not unconvinced that isn't the whole reason that he took Tommy home. I'm turned on, you're in front of me. Yeah. That tracks, actually. You're close enough to Eddie. Which makes me think of 7-4. It's like, this one's here.
Well, yes, we said that. It's just like, you're close enough to Eddie Shape.
Still's suffering. Are we wrong?
No.
Okay. That same couple, the horrible husband, says to Vanessa, your generosity is one of the many qualities that made me fall in love with you in the first place. And I immediately was like, oh my God, this could literally just be either Buck or Eddie, because, they're both so generous in different ways, but like in their love language ways, like acts of service, I think is kind of more Eddie's thing, and like grand gestures is Buck's thing. But they're both so generous with like their, not just with each other, but with the people that they love, and obviously with Chris. And I think that's a big part of like what has made them as close as they are, and their feelings for each other as strong as they are.
That's cute.
So we have another parallel in this episode to 403. So in this episode, we have Buck blocking the video game while Chris and Eddie play. And then in 403, it's like where Eddie is blocking the TV while Chris and Buck play, because he's like, the internet evil.
We already kind of talked about Bobby Fujoshiing from the grave.
We're going to talk about it again. Read it, Rachel.
Okay, great. So the way Buck is like, Bobby chose this for us. Me and you, we have to make him proud. And like we mentioned it before, we will mention it again. But just like the way that Bobby is Fujoshiing from the grave. He's our strongest buddy warrior. Like,
and he literally did when he's like, Bobby chose us for this, me and you. He literally did. He's the reason that you're partners, that you know each other at all. He literally chose you for each other.
He is matchmaker extraordinaire.
Yeah.
He knows Buck and Eddie better than they know themselves, even without having met Eddie for an extended period of time, I'm sure. to win out against all the other fire stations to get Eddie. Like,
that's so smart, though. He looked at him and was like, my son will imprint on you. And he was 100% correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He knows.
Yep.
He knows. He made this happen.
He did.
It's all Bobby's fault. Thank you, Bobby.
Thanks, Bobby. And then we have Chris. After Buck brings up like, oh yeah, because my parents are getting divorced, and I mentioned that, which we gotta talk at some point about Buck just like
not mentioning
thinking that
things?
he's telling people things but not mentioning them literally at all to anyone.
Yeah, because it's weird that it's happened more than once.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So
wasn't that also in
905?
905?
The
yes,
cookies.
that's 905.
Interesting, Christopher Monfett. What are you saying?
Mm-hmm. But Chris Diaz, not Monfett, says
right. That's why I was like, wait.
Says it's always hard on the kids. And Eddie looks
Savage.
at him for a while after he says this, and like I think Chris was just being like a little shit, like facetious.
Yeah.
But like honestly, Chris would know because his dads have been divorced several times. Most notably, just Buck disappeared from his life for a couple months with no explanation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And his dad kept like disappearing to go to fights and coming back all bruised.
Chris really said in his own way, I am a child of divorce.
You really did.
And Eddie's face during that is so interesting.
Yeah.
We could probably talk about that for like 10-15 minutes just on that.
There's so many different things happening.
Yeah.
So then we have Buck's reaction to Eddie saying, a year ago, I didn't know I was coming back, which his face, you know, it's giving so much like echoes to 808, 817, like there's so many emotions going through Buck's face. And we haven't like, you know, addressed that until now, like how Buck did feel since that happened, you know, like,
yeah.
So hopefully we'll get more of that soon.
Yeah. I hope that was like a nod to like, he still has some feelings about this.
It absolutely is. They wouldn't have brought that up and had the camera like linger on that if they're not going to do it again.
Specifically. Because like he does bring it up and like it really is used for the conversation with Maddie, but hopefully we do get to address it a little bit more because I'm sure there's more feelings there.
So when Buck says, I may come from a line of quitters and losers, but DNA is not destiny, that's just like so symbolic of like Buck being in it for the long haul and not giving up. Especially because like everybody in his family has kind of like left him at one point or another. Anyone in his life has kind of left him at one point or another. Yeah. So it's kind of like I know we talk about like breaking generational curses a lot with Eddie, but this is kind of Buck's, right? Of not like dropping and running, not running away, but just kind of like sticking it through.
Yeah. Even when it gets hard, he stays. Then we have Maddie saying to Buck like about their parents. The only thing we could count on our entire lives is that they had each other's backs, which was a direct pause during this too. So I was like, is this play about us? But yeah, definite parallel again to 201 of Buck and Eddie famously saying you can have my back any day or you could have mine.
Maddie's saying, yeah, they're not fighting, they're just giving up. So like this is also more echoes to the 817 fallout a little bit because so Buck and Eddie are fine and they aren't fighting, but they're still not communicating in terms of like what happened in 817. Like they haven't talked about it. It still feels like it's lingering and it could fester, and you know, if they don't address it, it could end up in a certain way that we don't want. So but yeah, they've kind of given up trying to communicate in a more, you know, like deeper way. Like they haven't had, you know, conversations where there isn't actually, that's a thing. So they haven't, like, even in this episode, I wouldn't count this as like a deeper conversation. One, because like Buck he's like, no, it's fine. I don't need to talk about it.
Yep.
But also like we also have a third person in the room.
Yeah.
And then obviously they weren't going to do anything in Nashville, but like Nashville was kind of one of those like there's certain, you know, there's elements where like they're not alone totally. So
yeah. And kind of jumping off on that, when Buck and Maddie are talking and they say like, I mean, who decides to get a divorce and then jump in an RV and drive cross country? It's our parents. So it's it is interesting because that kind of does like foreshadow Buck and Eddie on their road trip back from Nashville, especially after 8/17, because it's like what Philip and Margaret are doing are basically like just putting a blanket over everything. It's like, oh yeah, we're getting a divorce. Like it's something so big, but they're obviously, it doesn't seem like they're really talking about it. It doesn't, they're just kind of like shoving it under the rug. Like, yeah, we're going to go RVing across the country. It's great. But like, is anything of substance like happening there? And that kind of feels like a parallel to Buck and Eddie, like even through this whole season so far, where it's like, yeah, they're fine, but it's kind of like they've just tried to shove everything else that happened in 8/17, like push it under the carpet, and we're not going to look at it, but we're just going to like operate like we're normal, except they're not really normal.
No, because they're not communicating. Really, they're not having real conversations.
And like Eddie was trying to, but shut down.
Yep. And then we have Buck saying, when Bobby submitted us for this Nashville thing, Eddie wasn't even here. He was still living in El Paso. And Maddie says, you think Bobby knew he was coming back? And Buck nods and says, because that's what families do. No matter how hard it is or how far apart they are, they find a way home, even if they have to fight like hell to get there. And it's just like, all of this is about his relationship with Eddie and Chris.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it's about. He's literally talking about it. Like he made the segue from talking about their parents' divorce to talking about him.
He kept doing that. He kept doing that at every single turn.
I know.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. And it's just like, I can't wait to, I really hope we dig into like what's going on in their minds, because this is crazy. But I really think it's also foreshadowing for 9/13, because obviously it's like, imagine this is like one of the last thing your brother says to you, and then he like goes on a trip and then he gets kidnapped. And in your head, you're just like, that's what families do. No matter how hard it is or how far apart they are, they find a way home, even if they don't, even if they have to fight like hell to get there. So it sounds like, you know, Buck's going to be fighting like hell, and Eddie will too.
Also, I'm not sure if we have this on here, but the whole like fight like hell to get back to your family is an Eddie Begins thing, because that whole thing of Eddie, I think he said at
He'll
some
always
point
fight to come home to my family. That's literally the quote.
Yeah, that's it. So like, it is interesting that we're bringing that back, because I think that's kind of like the only time we've really heard that kind of sentiment in those.
And you know who wrote
specific words? You know, exactly. So like, it's really interesting that this is like taking something that we've heard first in that kind of wording from Eddie and Eddie Begins, flopping it. And wait, this is the second time
they're reversing
now in a couple episodes where we've had Buck reiterate something that Eddie has said, because Buck said to Abigail, you know, it's the family you choose. And we had Eddie say that first. So putting Eddie's words in Buck's mouth is so interesting, because it's also, it just feels like very foreshadowy for what's coming up next as well.
Yeah, that also echoes my last point on here, which is Maddie says, we've never had that. And he's like, no, not with them. Like the family that you married into. So it's talking about found family. So it's like echoing him saying the family that you choose. Like that's, you married into a found family. So it is very much like, because when he says that, I was getting echoes back to, because like I was thinking of like the kitchen scene with like where Eddie says that in that episode. What is it? Is 311?
Yes, it's
311. Maddie, like in that gathering with the with the found family, and where Eddie famously says that line. So I really do think, you're right. It is like, again, echoes of having Buck say things that Eddie has said that he hasn't actually heard him say. So that's so interesting, because they're just so connected that way, and they just think of things the same way. In that manner.
All right, I'm gonna bring it down a little bit. So,
jeez, what a way to preface that.
So, we have a call between this character called Nori Yates. She's calling
insane
name, but not psycho related. At least I don't think so. I didn't give psycho related after watching that. But anyway. But just funny that they use that name. So she's calling 911 because she can't find her husband, her husband left on a fishing trip or something. It hasn't been home in a few days.
It's been home in a couple days.
And she found the note that was basically kind of like a suicide note or just like a goodbye note. Spoiler alert, he's fine. He was fine. But like in what he wrote in the note was, I don't know what to say anymore. So I just don't say anything. Wait, no. Is that what he says, or did she say that?
No, that's what the note says.
So in the note it says, I don't know what to say anymore, so I just don't
It's a combo.
say anything. I feel so alone.
Yeah.
Oh my God, this feels like one of those combos from another episode. You know what I'm talking about? We had this.
Yeah.
I just don't remember what episode.
Yeah, she was saying, I don't know what to say anymore, so I just don't say anything in between reading the note, and then she finishes reading the note, and it's the next line she reads is, I feel so alone. So I just included it because I was like,
oh,
Buck and Eddie are each other's persons. So like,
okay.
No, wait, what other thing were you
me?
Yeah,
I mean,
comparing it to?
I could have sworn that we made comparisons in like some other special, like earlier in the season, where we were comparing again, like these things that would happen to certain couples in the call, and then like you just like reapply them to Buck and Eddie. And I feel like, but I feel like we actually actively did that.
Yeah.
Instead of me saying that yesterday. I feel like I said this yesterday. Because like all of these couples were mirroring our Buck and Eddie.
Couples.
All the couples, as of like from the beginning of season 9, have some kind of like buddy element to it.
I think this has come up a couple of times, so.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. I can't remember exact episodes, but I know it's come up a couple times this season for sure that we've done that.
Like the couple from the opening emergency with the amputation and...
Yes, exactly.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Then maybe it was the amputation. Maybe that was the one that we were like doing like not word for word, but like kind of like going through their dialogue and being like, wow, they sound exactly like...
They sound like
yeah.
They sound like them.
We did do that for them, yeah.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah.
But yeah, this Nora quote is just like about how like, to me, I read it as like, she's like, I don't know what to say anymore, so I don't say anything. And like, we just aren't seeing Buck and Eddie hang out outside of, we haven't seen them hang out with just them. Like, even though we saw Buck in the Diaz house, yay, but it's still with Chris there as a buffer because they can't talk. They can't have a conversation. So like, they just aren't saying anything to each other in the way that like, they aren't having real communication between them, especially about anything that they fought about during 8/17 and Bobby related stuff. Like, they really aren't communicating and talking about that. Like, they still haven't talked to each other about like their grief. Like, the closest we got was like Eddie being open to Buck being haunted by Bobby, basically, very briefly. So yeah, it was just like, I think they're both feeling kind of lonely because they don't have their main support person that they normally have who they can talk to and open up to about things. And then we have Harry and May when they're talking at the end, like making up, and she says something about like, you'll always be like the smelly little kid, and he's like, and you'll always be my annoying big sister who always has my back. I'm sorry I didn't have yours. And I was like, really, the Buddy reference twice in one episode is crazy. It's more 309 parallels, which is also crazy because that's one of the Buddy episodes of all time, and we did just do a revisit of it.
with the apology and like, no, we're like, I gotta make it right.
Yeah. So I'm like, I hope this means we're like working our way towards, you know, they're like putting all this stuff that parallels Buck and Eddie so much. And is paralleling a previous like fight where they had a divorce and then actually like they made up, but then they didn't actually talk about it until several episodes later. So
did Monfett write 309 or was that? No, that was Juan Carlos.
Yes.
I keep JCC. I keep thinking it's Monfett, but it's close enough. But yeah, it's just like anytime we get a have your back sort of thing, it always just goes back to Buddy because I think they were the first ones that said it. So like any subsequently after is just come on. And then I don't know if I'm going to explain this exactly right. So help me out if I'm struggling really hard. Okay, so like the way Harry and Ravi are acting around each other at the station and like being so weird after Harry walked in on May and Ravi, and Harry's trying to avoid Ravi. Ravi's trying to like goad him a little bit into like a confrontation so they can actually talk about things and get over it. And just that like really awkward vibe is so, to me, it's like a weird preview of what could happen with, you know, the fraternization between two people at the station. So like basically my vision is like, and it seems kind of fanficky, but like one of those things where it's like when either Buck or Eddie or both have a realization and they're trying to act normal, but they're also being very not normal. So like one of them them is avoiding the other one and the other one is trying to like get them to actually talk, which I think is pretty like, you know, Buck is the one to avoid and Eddie would be the one to like rage bait him, right? And just kind of like that strange dynamic that we're seeing happening with Harry and Ravi. Obviously, like they're not a thing, but it's just kind of like, how is everyone else also reacting to that kind of thing around them too? So Chimney's just like very laissez-faire. I'm not gonna get into it and that kind of stuff. I don't know. Like I have this vision of this, and it's like a weird like buddy preview where it's not exactly, but it's similar, you know?
I think also like, and this is obviously very future, but like whenever they do get together, it's gonna be some kind of issue, even though there is nothing officially IRL on the books about like fraternization. Like I think it's gonna be weird in some kind of way, not as bad, obviously, but like if you've read The Long Game, something about having people date each other on the same team. Like some people don't like that, or some people are like uncomfy with it. And I don't think anyone directly in the station would be, but other people like in like there could be issues.
Yeah. And just like how the dynamics shift.
Yes.
You know, where you have like two people who are like in a different kind of relationship. So like Harry and Ravi could potentially be like brothers-in-law. I mean, obviously not yet, but like that kind of thing.
Well, I mean, we already have brothers-in-law.
We have that too. So it's like, and the way like Buck and Chimney act around each other is slightly different, you know, than some of the other. I don't know. I just have like a very specific vision of that, you know?
Okay, now we're kind of entering some Nashville parallels to OG. Well, I felt like Nashville is kind of like a reversal to 907, or like to Buddy going out in 907.
Yeah.
It's pretty much like, it feels like a reversal in terms of like Eddie's the one that wants to go out this time. And he's enjoying it, or he wants to enjoy it because, you know, it's on his own terms. He's not being pressured to perform. He's in a new place. I know we already kind of talked about this, where I'm listing it all out, but he gets to hang out with Buck. And I think it's like, this is very highlighted in 907. I think the parts that he enjoyed about being out in 907 is that he gets to hang out with Buck, because he's doing it for Buck, to hang out with Buck. And it's like really highlighted with the whole, I'm not going to leave your side. Yeah. Another parallel. So we have like this interesting trend now in season 9 where Eddie is really pulling out the big guns to get Buck to do what he wants. So we see it in 908, 910, and now in the crossover. So like in 908, when they're doing that sweeping the hoses thing, he like turns it around on Buck. He's like, you know what? You're right. And then Buck's like, yeah, thank you for noticing. I am. Thank you for noticing. And then Eddie's like, yeah, so yeah, that's why you should go talk to Chimney. And then Eddie is doing this other thing where, I mean, now it's a pattern where he's using his big old doe eyes to like kind of plead. And, you know, so like he kind of did it in 910 when like he used that look to get Buck to talk to Chimney about Harry, you know, like trying to stop Chimney from using the kid gloves on him, even though Buck was like, no, I'm not going to do it. And then now in Nashville, you can actually see the eyes activate, like, you know, like the big eyes, like he was just looking at him normally. And then like his eyes like started to get bigger and bigger as he was like going down the list of things to convince Buck to go out. I thought that was so funny. That was great.
The eye acting.
Yeah.
The eye acting of late, excellent.
Crazy. Yeah. The micro expressions, the eyebrow. That eyebrow
that eyebrow is getting a workout.
Yeah. I was literally about to say that.
Yeah, love it here.
So we've talked about it a bunch, but we're going to talk about it again because there's a parallel, you know, because Eddie soft, Eddie good, Eddie kind, and he protect, but he also attack, you know? So he's trying to keep the peace between Buck and Blue and Lil Ryan, but he jumps immediately into the fray when Blue shoves at Buck first. It's on site, just like in 304 with the guy who insults Chris in the parking lot, which was also written notably by Chris Monfett. He's just kind of like in 304, like, okay, kind of done with the guy. Like, okay, I'm parking here for my kid who's handicapped. And he's just kind of trying to brush him off and get in his car. But as soon as he insults Christopher, he slams the door and he's like, did you just insult my kid? Ripping his earrings out.
Throwing the gloves on the ground. Boom.
Yeah. And then also parallel to 907 when like Zane and Jade show up and they don't know what's going on. So like Buck walks out there, but like Eddie's like tapping Robbie, like, we got to go out there, like immediately need to be there and stand next to him because we need to have his back. Like, need to make sure that if anything goes right, because like he's thinking like this is a brother and a sister and like they're here to like cause some problems, start a fight.
And he goes into like guard dog mode.
He does. Like he's ready. He's like if something had happened, he would have been ready.
Yeah,
exactly.
Know, at a moment's notice. But it is so interesting too, because especially with the 304 parallel, because it's like continuously Eddie is, unlike the lawyer said, Eddie is not like an angry person. It is when he is explicitly provoked. And it's also in both of these two instances, it's when he's provoked and it's never about him.
He's provoked when it's like the people closest to him, the people he cares about. Like that's when he has to, he takes fighting. Well, no, that's not a good comparison. But like I was gonna say something like, it was like fighting to get back to his family, but like that wasn't it. Sorry. So
fighting for his family's honor.
But it's more
basically.
like fighting for his family's honor. Yeah.
Because he's protecting Christopher basically, and then he's protecting Buck. So it's like,
those are his people.
Yeah. Eddie's anger when he's angry about things, that's all about him being angry at himself. But when he shows that anger externally, it's like he's doing it. In these instances, it's him doing it so he can be the protector basically, and like and fight for them so they don't have to do it. I love Momfett so much.
Same. Yeah. I would like to take this moment to read my tweet that I made on private so no one could see it. Well,
but now you're gonna make it public.
Well, I'm gonna I'll say it on the podcast because I think it's funny. It's just about Eddie.
And nobody can search it either way. So like,
no one can search it because I'm on private.
Okay. Yes, let's hear it.
We were talking about the episodes after it finished airing until like 5 a.m. or something. And then we went to lay down and I was just reflecting on how much I love Eddie Diaz. Like, but especially these episodes, like, and especially in the crossover, because I was just like, you're so soft and you're so sweet and you just want to like go have fun, but also like you're guard dog. So here's my tweet. Oh, possessive, protective Eddie Diaz, sugar plum, light of my life. Your bitchy ways and obsession with your best friend have entranced me, and I fear I will never love another fictional demisexual homoromantic like I love you.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Beautiful snaps.
Yeah.
Endorsed tweet.
Thank you.
Public like.
Public like on my private tweet. But like, hold on, what time did I tweet that? Because it really was
like, it really 5 a.m. You had Eddie Diaz thoughts?
I wrote it and then went to sleep, like literally.
Yeah, I have those nights too.
4:53 a.m. Okay, so shout out to our best buddies on Patreon.
Thank you so much, Aaron, Alexandria, Amber, Amy, Anthony, Asha, Aubrey, Christian, Dana, Eveline,
Gracie, Jane, Irv, Joey, Juan, Jules, Kate, Katie, Kenny, Kitty, Quincy,
Maya, Mishi, Nat, Persephone, Poppy, Rebel, Sheila, TJ, Tristy, Vera, and Zachary.
We're about to start a mini segment they voted for: the Dean Winchesterification of Eddie Diaz in the crossover.
It's exclusive to the Best Buddies tier of Patreon.
So if you'd like to vote on and hear a special mini segment in each episode
and get a personalized shout out, subscribe to our Patreon and be our best buddies.
Yay.
Whoop-de-doo.
So we're going to go into the Looking Glass, and I think we only have a couple season parallels. I'm sure there's a ton, and we'll probably catch way more on our rewatch, but we were very busy with the gay ones, so
just take priority.
Yes. So when Harry walks in on May Ravi at the beginning, it directly parallels May walking in on Athena in season 5, episode 9, past his prologue. And also spiritually, Buck walking in on Maddie in 201 under pressure. That's it.
They really love doing that.
They do. It was funny. It's hilarious.
Yeah. And then the Philip Buckley apology tour, it kind of struck a little similar to Bobby's mom from 8/11, where she kind of came in and was like, I'm not really apologizing for anything that happened earlier, but I would like to like kind of move forward a little bit. And this sort of like self-awareness and self-reflection that's going on is very similar with what Philip Buckley was doing. And with both of these cases, the way the story handles them is where it's like, it's not redemption, right? But it's just like acknowledging their past and acknowledging like how bad of a parent they've been and just like trying to, I guess, either in Bobby's case, like build a little bit of a relationship there, and just kind of like both of those events give Bobby and Buck the opportunity to forgive their parent for, you know, not all of the transgressions, but like to just like forgive their parent, but it's mostly for themselves rather than the parent, because there's no actual redemption here. That just seems like really similar, and I kind of like that that's how it's being handled. And also interesting that we've gotten that twice if we had a nickel. 811 was also co-written by Taylor Wong and Derek Sayach. So I think that is kind of interesting that we're seeing that kind of like through thread.
What we know about what's coming next. The next episode, which comes out the day that this episode is airing, that hopefully is the day you're listening to it. If not, this isn't next. It already happened. So
what's it like to live in the future?
What's it like to know what happened in this episode?
Oh
Season 9, episode 13, Mother's Boy, coming out March 12th, 2026. Written by Timothy Minear. And I would just love to say that we were right about that. And we love that.
Yeah, we just kept because I think in this last episode we didn't have writers, and it's just like we were like, we really think it's about time. Tim's gotta get on it.
What we knew about the episode, we were like, this just feels like Tim's
Tim's
bag. Yeah. Directed by Jonathan Lawrence. The director of photography is PJ Russ. It's gonna be so beautiful. The synopsis is Eddie and Buck's flight back to Los Angeles is canceled following the National Firefighter Games. Hoping to be home for Hen's birthday. Sounds familiar. They decide a cross-country road trip is the fastest way until they get off track and Buck goes missing.
Dun, dun, dun. Oh
my God.
Or rather, should I be like...
Yeah. And in the promo that we saw at the end of the Nashville crossover, because we thought we were getting no promo because they showed the promo for the crossover at the end of 9/12.
But actually, that's so smart.
It was smart.
Yeah.
Yes. Because I was like, oh my God, we're going in with no promo, no nothing. But they gave us one. And it's like them in a car, like on the road trip, looking like they're having the time of their lives. Buck is throwing cheese puffs at Eddie and he's catching them in his mouth while he's driving them. And then big car crash.
Boom.
And then Eddie wakes up in a hospital and he's like, where's Buck? And they're like, we found you alone. And then we see Buck tied up somewhere. And I think is it Athena and Maddie?
Yeah, and Chimney.
Athena, Maddie, and Chimney are just like, where is he? So that's what we know.
Which is not
basically,
much.
Which is not much, but we have some foreshadowing stuff that we've caught on to, which like we've been saying car crash has been coming for a while.
We've been saying that since season 8, but like
we have been saying that since season 8,
but with renewed vigor.
Yes, it's been renewed. It's been renewed with a freshness like the last several episodes, especially. But I think we've been saying it a lot of season 9.
Yeah.
But especially the last couple episodes, we were like, car crash is coming. And wouldn't you know it, there it is. Then we had Hen with a knife.
Another knife.
Honestly going, you win or you don't come home. Like another knife. And like we just like last week still listed all the knives that we've also had. And like Eddie literally got slashed in the last in 9/11. So are we going to get one or both of them stabbed?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows?
Can't wait to see.
There was also the Nora Yates call and the straight blade red herring where we thought Charlie was
sharpening.
Yeah, Charlie was sharpening the straight blade for a nice shave, but like the way everything was framing was
especially like reading the note that sounded like a suicide note. And we were like, oh my God, this is not what we meant when we said kill more patients, because I said that at the beginning of the episode.
So it was like the direction of that sequence made it really seem like he was getting ready to do something, and then it was like, nope, not that. So that's definitely, we're throwing that in there with all the other knives. We've seen so many.
Yeah. And then I guess we don't really have a theory. We have just like several things that were like, could this be what happens or partially what happens? So
they're on our red string board, you know, whether they end up connecting is another.
Yeah. So we're pretty positive still that this is going to follow the psycho structure somewhat. Like, we don't know how much or to what degree or how, but it still seems like it's going to be very psycho inspired, and especially with all of the parallels and foreshadowing we've gotten continuously, and including this episode. Oh my god,
and Sil kind of laid everything out with like that psycho structure in our last season 9 special.
Honestly, like at this point, I'm like so confused as to what we're doing, because like they gave us so much with 10 and 11 with all of the psycho references and stuff like that. It's like, are we actually, I feel like we're not gonna recreate it beat for beat, obviously, but like how many more elements are you gonna throw in there? I'm so curious to see.
Yeah.
And really, I thought they were just gonna stumble upon a case, but now I'm just like, okay, they are the case. They are the case. But like, yeah, they are the case, because they're probably going to run into someone at the motel, gas station, combo diner thing, and either piss someone off, or like someone takes an interest to one of them, most probably Buck, for whatever reason. And the night of the horrors begins, you know? I was also thinking about like episode structure. I mean, they can do the true 911 fashion where like they can open up with them on the road at night, and then the car crash happens, and then like we're recounting everything that happens. And
like 12 hours ago, 24 hours, or 36 hours ago, whatever. Yeah, that seems likely. They love that structure, especially in the very dramatic ones when they want to be like, okay, I will absolutely be tuning into the rest of this episode, as if they start with the big shocking thing. You know? I think that we're going to get some fight or flight parallels. I think it would be kind of hard not to hit any fight or flight parallels.
For like Maddie and Chimney and stuff.
I think for both,
but also Maddie and Buck.
Yes, both.
Yeah, for both. But I think specifically like mirroring. I'm thinking like mirroring like Chimney and Maddie with Buddy. Like that's kind of what I'm thinking. But also it's like amalgamation, because like Buck would also be Eddie. So there'll be layers of some parallels there. But I really think it's going to be most likely, I would say that Buck is going to save himself, kind of similar to like how Maddie did, and then like Eddie will find, I don't know, like we don't even know what kind of state Eddie's in.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. I can picture Eddie being like, fuck this, I'm leaving this hospital, wherever he's at, and then he's like on the search for Buck. At the same time, Buck is going through the horrors, but maybe he finds a way to escape. And like there were so many behind the scenes of like those sunset shots, those really beautiful shots where like if it were me, I would use that opportunity to do like reuniting them there. Like they're
that would be like good.
Buck crawling his way out from wherever he is, and Eddie also, and then like they, you know, and then they cross paths and it's like reunion.
Yeah.
And then
that's so romantic.
Yeah. Yeah, so
this is not something that I necessarily believe, but like again, I know nothing, but I did see people being like, this is a coma dream, which that was a theory that we had last year that we loved. I don't want it to be a coma dream.
No.
And I think they're specifically saying that because of like how the hospital room looks, and I'm like, first of all, I think they're in Mexico, so I'm pretty sure there's going to be like a green yellowy filter on everything.
Yeah.
But I was also like, maybe what if it's like a makeshift hospital? What if it's a hospital room that's fake and he's actually being held captive too, but doesn't realize it?
I've seen that kind of theory before, and like there are other shows that have done that as well. And it is interesting.
And
it's just so really confusing, because Ryan was asked by Sophia Soto like what he can say about the episode, and he was like, yeah, this next episode Buck and Eddie are gonna be together a lot. And I'm like, are they though?
But like I don't know. I mean, maybe it could go if they are together a lot, then maybe that means the amount of time that we get of them on the road trip is longer than we're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe it means that Eddie finds him and then is also in danger because he gets captured trying to find him.
Yeah.
Or maybe he is captured and then they like Eddie figures it out and then they throw him in the basement too. I don't know.
Or they're both in the basement. Okay, like Eddie is trying to find him. He finds him and then he gets also tied up. And like this is how they spent the entire of the episode. Like they're watching each other go through the horrors and the torture kind of. Yeah.
This is the cave that we've wanted them to be in together.
Well, it's a fruit cellar, but
cave fruit cellar. Tomato.
And then it's like you said, like they figure out how to get out of there together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's ideal situation for us.
Actually, I like that. Let's do that.
Yeah. Torture them both.
Dual NDEs. No, because that would align with like what we've been wanting to see, where it's just like stick Buck and Eddie away from everybody else together, where they have to communicate with stuff.
Yep.
And like, what better than if one or both of them are like, we might die. And it's just kind of like,
Yeah. So basically, the only thing we really found out from the interview with Sophia Soto that we didn't know about the episode before is that they're in Mexico. They didn't film it in Mexico, but I think Buck and Eddie are in Mexico. Like this episode is taking place in Mexico, or at least like the captivity. So
the captivity.
Interesting.
And that's why it definitely wouldn't be anyone's jurisdiction at that point.
Nope. I mean, neither was the cruise ship, but
I think they're gonna have to find their way.
They got to do it themselves.
Yeah. Oh,
fight to get back home to their family. Do it yourself.
Yeah. I kind of don't want anyone to go out there. Like I would accept like Maddie going and finding them after they've already freed themselves for like a fight or flight parallel. But I really would just love a like them saving themselves, walking out into the sunset kind of deal.
Yeah.
We don't know why they'd be in Mexico because that's not on the route home. But like if they decided to go visit Eddie's parents for whatever fucking reason in El Paso is on the border. So it'd be very easy for them to be in Mexico, especially if they were like, let's take if they were like pulling a Buckley parents and like doing a couple like little visits on the way back,
like the scenic route.
Like different the scenic route. Yeah.
And that makes me wonder, I'm like, how many days until Hen's birthday, since this was the whole reason they're doing is because they're trying to get back
such
home
bullshit
for Hen's birthday. Are you kidding me?
If your flight is canceled, just wait for another flight. The way they were like, a several day drive is faster than waiting for another
I still believe
3 hour flight.
I can't wait for the explanation for this because it's probably something like, and there won't be another flight for whatever reason, or it's like no good, very bad day. Okay.
Maybe they're trying to, maybe they'll use a snowstorm.
Okay.
Maybe they'll use that and just be like, and the airport shut down. You know what I mean?
Like, there's no flights. Not to put logic. It's March. Like, oh, wait, I don't know. You know what? I don't know. I don't know anything about snowstorms. I live in Florida, but you know what I was going to say? I was going to say, which was my theory, was like, or one of my theories. I was like, what if they were like, okay, flight is canceled. They didn't want their little Nashville retreat to end. So they're like, we'll just drive back, and they'll just like justify it in some way. They're like, yeah, we'll just do that. So,
yep, maybe. Yeah. I don't know. There could still be snow. There's still snowstorms here in March. Sometimes we still get snow in the beginning of April. And normally Nashville just like really doesn't get a lot of snow, but like there's been a lot of storms, like crazy storms lately. So I don't know. They could use it. I'm just trying to think of an actual reason that isn't just like there was a minor inconvenience that we could wait a couple hours to fix, but let's drive for several days.
So like,
they're stupid.
So like I could totally see that.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
It might tie into like the Buckleys doing their weird road trip too. Well, it is going to, but who
gets a divorce and then goes in an RV and goes cross country sort of thing. Yeah,
that was in the
That's
Parallels.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think I'm trying to tie into like what I just said, which was, they don't want to. This is the first time they've been alone in so long that they didn't want it to end, I guess. It's kind of like Margaret and Philip who are doing their farewell tour before their actual divorce. Except hopefully, obviously theirs doesn't end in divorce, right?
Ends in marriage.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of it. We just have a lot of like, what if this happens? What if this happens instead? We don't really know. Excited to see what happens.
Very excited to see.
So there's a concept, I think, that's been floating around, especially with like how Eddie's been so protective, I think. So I was just wondering, because we didn't talk about this together. So I was just wondering, like, repercussions, like, you know, like how this could affect them if it resulted into Buck or Eddie or both of them killing the kidnapper. Actually, both of them killing the kidnapper sounds kind of like, let's do it, actually.
Yeah. Well, it would be self-defense.
And it would be self-defense.
It would be like another fight or flight parallel, but like, I don't know. I kind of don't want that added trauma for them of taking someone's life. They're both very, so not that Maddie isn't soft, but I don't know. I feel like that's a different level of trauma, I guess.
We don't
It's a different level of
need
trauma.
them to trauma bond like that.
Okay, fine.
But like, it is interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting.
Like, I wouldn't be mad at it.
I'm just saying, I don't know if I want it.
I guess it depends, like, how it would be written, right? How it's going to be presented if they do this. Because, like, I get it. It's kind of like how I was like, how we were all like, we didn't want Bobby to die, and it's going to, like, be a shadow over, like, Buddy getting together. So, like, yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know if I want this, but maybe they can make it interesting, you know, like.
Yeah, anything that we say, we're like, I don't know if I want this. If they give us like good reason or good writing,
that's fine
if
it happens. I'm just saying, I don't know if I want to see that for them personally as characters that I care about. It could still be good storytelling.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. I'm just
it's Tim. It's gonna be good.
I mean, it's already traumatic though.
I'm saying like the after effects of it are going to be way different if they end up having to kill him versus not. That's all. But it's possible.
Yeah.
Especially depending on how heavily we're leaning into fight or flight parallels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we good to go on to 914?
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then, you know how in our last episode we said, we have a lot of new information to tell you about the upcoming episodes? Well, that's over. So it's kind of the same information. So for 914, we have DIY, and that will air on March 19th. It's written by, I don't know. We have a synopsis where it says, and directed by who knows. So our buddy system theory is,
The only thing we know is allegedly they were filming in Pasadena for a couple days, but it's still yet to be seen if that's going to be for 14 or 15.
Yeah.
And then we have 915 titled Pick Your Poison, which is airing on March 26th, written by synopsis, directed by I don't know, and our theory we don't know. Well, actually, we have some foreshadowing.
We have a theory.
We have a theory based on nothing except a behind the scenes photo in the title. So there was this behind the scenes video of them like throwing pens into a cup for like the season 10 renewal. Was that it?
Which, by the way, it's been renewed for
season 10. For season 10.
We're here another year.
We knew, but
we knew.
Yay.
But it's nice to
renewed
know.
earlier than usual. So yay. But in that video, everyone's in Buck's backyard. Like everyone is there. And when you see Oliver throwing the pen, he's looking rough.
Mm-hmm.
He's in sweats. He's looking a little worn down, very sick. There's also like a shot in the background of, I don't know who was throwing the pen at the time, but someone on set is wheeling around a banana bag, which is like a yellow IV bag, which is normally full of like electrolytes and vitamins and stuff. It's like a pick-me-up bag that can be treatment for a lot of different things because it's not really like a cure for anything other than like a direct treatment for anything other than like severe dehydration.
There was a day where he was he met some fans on set. Well, they were on location, and he was like, yeah, I'm supposed to look a little sick. So like it's confirmed that there is something wrong with him.
Which tracks with the title. So
did give me when these titles were released, or this one specifically, I was like, why is it feeling very like two-parter Contagion, a little bit of Contagion arc.
Sick day.
Yeah.
I don't know. My running theory is that he's probably going to, is that either he has cancer, which I don't think is actually what's happening. I think he will eventually, but not this season.
No.
Listen, he's a fucking donor baby to cure childhood cancer. He's going to have cancer at some point. They're going to bring it back around. This is network TV. I know how it works. I don't want it, but I know it's going to happen.
I dread the day, but like I know that's going to happen.
But anyway, I think Philip is actually sick. And they're lying about it because like he's giving very much like bucket list items.
Farewell tour.
Farewell tour. I'm thinking about my regrets. And that's why he was thinking about Buck and Bobby and like
making amends and
yes, apologized and was like, tell me about him. Because like otherwise this is so randomly, weirdly reflective. They're being secretive about the reason why they're divorcing. And I was like, how would I make this make sense? And I was like, oh, well, maybe they're getting a divorce because it's something that could be helped, treated, or cured by a donation of like a donatable organ, right? From a living person. But he doesn't want to ask their kids because of Daniel and Buck being a donor baby and all of that trauma. And Margaret and him fought about it. And that's why they're getting divorced and why they won't talk about it. But like maybe kind of foreshadowing, Maddie's telling Chimney like what happened at the dinner. And he's like, well, how's Buck doing? And she's like, he said he's fine, but he's like he's being kind of weird. And he's like, well, I'm sure he'll bounce. Chimney says, I'm sure he'll bounce back with some harebrained scheme to fix everything.
Buck's a fixer.
Because he's a fixer. So like, what if he does go, well, I'm going to figure out what's wrong with them and fix it. And then he finds out that his dad's actually sick. And then it's Buck's idea. To be like, well, why aren't you doing this? Oh, that's why. Like, I just feel like that's a very likely thing they could do.
Oh, totally.
Because it's like the just correct kind of demented where like it would be a little fucked up, but it would be Buck's idea and it would be his choice to do it. So it'd be kind of like redemption in a weird demented way.
Yeah, because it would be his choice, but it's also like another kind of like proxy way of like, well, he can do something about this father figure from the Bobby stuff. But like also that line that Buck says when he's talking to Eddie about, you know, the DNA is not destiny and stuff. And it's just kind of like, that's a weird line.
Yeah.
Like, I know he was talking about, you know, the quitters and the stuff about, you know, his parents like that. But like, that's a really interesting like way to phrase that.
Yeah.
And it just kind of like caught my attention. I'm like, oh no. Sickness.
Yeah. Also, I'm just like thinking about all the themes we've had like of this season of like the family history. And
Yes.
I don't know, man.
Which again was another Taylor Wong thing.
Yeah.
She like introduced the hen illness storyline.
And again, it could have nothing to do with any of this. It just seems like, and something Sil pointed out is that every guest star this season has had 3 episodes.
Like the prominent ones that really had an arc.
Yeah.
Like Mark Consuelo's had 3 from 901 to 903. Then we had Fallon Heaslip, who was from, she had 905, 910, and then 911. Amy T. Garden, who was brought in 908, 10, and 11. And now we have the Buckleys. So this is their first episode. If they're, you know, if they have an arc, they have 2 more episodes left. If they're doing like,
so it could be like,
and it seems like no matter what, we're doing something else with their parents. Because like, why just show up
randomly
just to have this moment? Like, I mean, I guess to have that moment is nice, but I feel like there's got to be more. You know what I mean? Because especially because he still hasn't talked about how he really feels about it.
It's his first stop on his farewell tour.
Yeah. I don't know. It just seems like, and again, this could not be what it is at all. It could just be that like there is some sort of poison at his job. I don't fucking know. But I just think it would be too soon after like the hen illness to like give another
main character
another illness.
Yeah.
So like him donating an organ and like having to be home and recovering would make more sense.
Yeah, because it's like got a finite like timetable sort of thing for that.
Well, yeah, and he's not going to be able to work for a couple months, I think, actually. After you donate. I'm trying to remember how long Meredith Grey had to be out of work.
No, sorry. I to what I just said, like now I'm like thinking about it because like this scene with Philip Buckley where he gets to talk about Bobby. I mean, like this is, you know, I guess like imagine this being like a bucket list of like Buck getting to or having to have moments with the 118. Obviously, Bobby isn't there. Philip is the proxy. So we can go down the list. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And also, I know I talked about like the Buck and his dad and Bobby and his mom parallels, but like, wasn't Bobby's mom also like kind of sick?
She had cancer.
Yeah.
She had stage 4 cancer.
That was it. Well, yes.
She had stage 4 cancer and she was walking around like she was fine until she wasn't.
Yeah.
So
I'm saying like, and also that kind of goes another little on my season 8 Redux sort of theory. I'm compiling evidence. Okay. I need to start writing it down.
You do need to start writing it down. So yeah, I don't know, just super interested to see what this is going to be and if it lines up with anything that we've thought of based of literally just Buck being sick in a banana bag.
Listen, give us one thing, we will theorize.
It's got to be something serious. That's why I kind of thought I was like, it can't just be like he got poisoned by something on the job that he's recovering from fine at home. Like, it's got to be something that's either really bad and serious, like he actually has cancer, which I don't think that's what we're doing, or that it's emotionally really bad.
Yeah.
So I would like donating an organ. That would be a huge fucking deal for someone who was a donor baby.
I do wonder, like, if whatever torture he's being put through as well.
I've seen people say that, and I'm just like, why would it be showing back up 2 episodes later?
I mean, I think just because we don't know anything about 14, it could be something in there. And there was a quote from Oliver Stark in one of the articles that came out this week where he said something, and I don't have the quote right in front of me. He said something to the effect of like, there will be like kind of some repercussions for something that's coming up, or like some longer reaching consequences. So I think that kind of got us thinking, and some other people thinking, it's like, oh, maybe it is something from 13 that just kind of like follows that along. Like, maybe not. Like, and
who
knows?
And I'm specific, and it makes me think about 8. It makes me think about 8-10 because, again, to your point, like the season 8 Redux theory, like Brayburn used a lot of stuff. I mean, she used chloroform, fentanyl. I don't know. There could be some kind of concoction.
Maybe they just use naproxen, which Buck is allergic to.
Oh my god.
we just had another anaphylactic reaction to something.
True. That is true.
I don't know.
Yeah. So basically, we do know nothing. This is just theorizing based on, again,
it's just a theory.
Yeah.
A buddy system theory.
And finally, we have 9/16 titled "Where There's Smoke," which is part of a phrase because it's "Where there's smoke, there's fire." So maybe the title is actually fire. I don't know, but it's airing, written in synopsis and buddy system theory. I don't know. We don't know.
So I did see something, and I don't know if it's official. I don't think it's official.
Oh, I saw that. I don't know that.
What are you guys talking about?
It makes sense. It makes sense if that's actually true. Okay, wishlist time.
Well, this one's you.
Hey, could we please have Gay Eddie? Pretty please. I would love it if we had him gay. Gay by 9/18. Thank you.
Rachel.
Not like anything else in any of our other episodes lets you know that that's what we want.
Nothing about if you just go to our YouTube channel and you just look at the thumbnails, it's just like Eddie Gay.
Oh my god.
It's for the Gay Eddie channel.
It's just the Eddie system.
It's the Eddie system.
Like, listen, it's his year, okay?
It is his year.
And because I'm obnoxious about this,
oh my god.
So sorry. I'm just putting this out here until it happens, and then I'm gonna be like, I made it happen. Not really. I just would love to see a musical episode anytime, sometime, whenever. Like, but please and thank you.
Please, pour Chimney Han out more, please. He looked so great in season 4. It's been so long.
Yeah, we mentioned this earlier in the Chimney section, but it bears repeating.
Yeah.
And then bring the Buckley parents back to plot device. Because that was actually fun this time. I mean, not fun. It was like fun in the way that I was like, it's good storytelling. And I actually liked this. Because sometimes there can be good storytelling and I still don't like it. I hate looking at them. But if we're going to use them for plot devising, I would love to bring them back for like a moment. I think I said this earlier in the episode, and that's why it's down here, which is like, so, and I think it would be Philip again, or maybe, I don't know, maybe it could be Margaret, and she can have words to say, because this is kind of more of something she would say, which is like, when are you and Eddie going to get married? You've been together a while. Or like, are you ever going to get married? Like, implying that him and Eddie are together. I just think that would be something that they would do. And that could be one of the like, hey, when are we going to start implying that these two are together from the outside, which is like a typical trope for couples who are about to get together.
More of those. So like last week's episode kind of fulfilled our like, why aren't any of these firefighter people being hit on by, you know, the patients or the victims like literally all the time? And episode 11 carried through with that. So now we need to see a little more of that outside perspective of like everybody thinking that Buck and Eddie are a couple anyways, because that's just funny.
Yep.
And it would be even funnier once one of them has a realization of feelings and then they're just like super flustery. No, no, it's not.
It could also help spur on a realization.
Yeah. Just to add, I guess my wish list item, because normally I don't really have wish list item because I'm usually getting what I want anyway.
I mean, we are too, but these are just like,
no, I'm just gonna, and it's a repeat wish list item. I just want in the future at some point, or just for funsies, the safe haven baby. Give me that. Give me them do like a home. Was it home economics project or like childcare
with like the egg or like the flour sack?
Yeah.
Accidental baby acquisition.
Yep. Give me that.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, we got to run because we have to go back to thinking about what the hell is happening in 913 until that happens, because that's what we do now.
That's all of that.
Which we do that, and then we watch the clip of Eddie pushing Blue, and we watch the other clip. You know,
you know which one.
By the time you're listening to this, it's gonna be the day that it comes out, or maybe it's already happened. So excited for future you and future us. And
we can't wait for this next episode.
Oh my God, it's gonna be one of the most unhinged reactions, one of the most unhinged post-episode live streams. So make sure you join us for both of those.
Oh yeah.
If you aren't a Patreon subscriber, you're gonna want to be for this episode. Yeah, make sure you join the YouTube live at 10:30 p.m. Eastern time afterwards. And what else? Oh, the episode that we're going to do covering it the following week is going to be probably bonkers long. So it's another Buddies.
Oh, this is just.
Oh, you mean our episode?
Yeah.
Yeah. Carve out some time and grab a snack for however long our 913 coverage is going to be, because and also wish us luck for editing it.
Yeah, please, because it's such a tight turnaround for these. Speaking of, we're going to end this so we can start editing it.
Toot sweet.
Remember, don't pick a fight.
But if you do,
take Eddie-Diaz with you.
Okay, now toodaloos. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Thank you for listening to the Buddy System Podcast.
Can't get enough of the buddies? Subscribe to our Patreon for access to our Discord community, full reaction videos, and even more exclusive content.
And if you really want to make our day, leave a 5-star review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts.
Please come yap with us on your favorite social media platform.
We're at Buddy System Pod everywhere. That's BUDDIE System Pod.
Catch you next time. And don't forget, bring a buddy with you.